But your alarm went off. We might have just sat here for like 45 straight minutes. You know what I mean? Waiting. Just waiting. What's up, everybody?
I don't want to forget,
Good evening. No, I'm glad. No, I appreciate your alarms. I actually time certain things to them because
oh my God.
They're 10 minutes,
I'm the obnoxious alarm person that everybody knows. Everybody has one of their friends or a partner or something who's an obnoxious alarm person. But it's like I suffer from that like I don't know if it's ADHD or whatever, but it's that paralysis where if something has to happen later in the day, you just like can't do anything. You're like stuck in like a holding pattern. So I have to set a million alarms to help me cope.
Deanne's been digging.
Stupid.
Deanne's been digging. She said JB's text about Kanye and Taylor is right out of the Scooter playbook. Did you see it?
Well, I don't know anything about the Scooter playbook, so.
But did you see the text?
Call Deanne. Get Deanne on the phone, okay? We'll have a chat. She can tell us all about it.
We have to get I think our set does need a nice
one of those old
90s,
like a rotary phone.
Yeah.
No, like mounted on the wall,
yeah, like right here.
Like the kind your mom had in the kitchen.
Deanne, hi there. And then we could pipe her in and she could have the sound, Hi, yeah, okay, so that's not how you sound. I'm not saying that's how you sound.
I don't know anything about the Scooter Run playbook. And I haven't seen that one. I feel like I've seen a gazillion of these texts and I'm still rooting through.
And the Nathan Koala texts and how much they cannot stand Justin. So we haven't gotten to those.
Koala?
Yeah.
What's koala?
I admit I didn't read as much today as I should have. I don't know. Koala. Guess it's in the text. Well, we can go look at that because that's Melissa Nathan's testimony, I suppose. I didn't read hers. I did read Jen Abel's. But I haven't read Melissa Nathan's, which, of course, got to read. Maybe we'll read that tonight. I'll tell you, though, some things kind of are shaping up, I think. Mm-hmm. I have a couple things to say to start things off. The first thing I'll say is that producers and producers and actors and talent have quite traditionally been opposed to one another.
Producers and actors.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
why?
Especially movie stars.
Tell me about it.
Well, because producers, first of all, they're putting so much of their trust in them, these actors. If that makes any sense, right?
Yeah, right.
So Sony has a short list, right, like every other studio, and that short list is movie stars that get films financed, and filmmakers have to use them if they want the studio's money.
But it probably starts at the negotiation time too, where there's just like this oppositional relationship, right?
Well, what I'm trying to say is at that moment there's an immediate expectation on the movie star, right?
Yeah.
By the studio and by the producers that there'll be a certain level of performance and expectation that when not met by the movie stars, it really lowers their station, right? It lowers their desirability and their marketability and maybe even gets them sliding off of their green light list or gets them moving into more okay, yeah, we'll green light her for something like streaming, but not, feature blockbuster type shit, right?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, and this isn't new, right? That producers and talent have had oppositions or would have oppositions or where they would be at odds because the producer has a very specific agenda. And most of that has to do with the exploitation of the actor that they hired, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes that exploitation goes above and beyond what the contract might have allowed for, right? Or that new things might be introduced as the project goes on. These projects are fairly long in their making, and through that process, many things happen that can create new and potentially even more profitable opportunities for marketing or whatever for movies. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So because it's dynamic. Life is dynamic. And so then that, can create hey, can we do this, Blake? And it's oh, I'm the star and, this is a problem now.
Yeah, because she's a whole brand.
Because she's a brand, or can be, right? So typically, though, I would venture to guess, and this is only a guess. I haven't worked with anybody but Leo in the A-list department, and he wasn't even A-list when I worked with him. But I forget. I forgot what I was saying there. Anyway,
You were talking about producers and actors having
Yeah, of course.
kind of a
that part
contentious relationship.
Yeah, I remember that. So and by the way, this goes all the way back to, I'm talking the silent era, and it can get nasty, by the way. Like these oppositions can be like pain in the ass, or they can be like, I'm going to destroy you. Mm-hmm. Max Sennett was, by one historian, and I don't remember who the writer was because I read this like 30 years ago, but quite famously, Max Sennett wanted Fatty Arbuckle to re-sign with Max Sennett Studios. And instead, Fatty Arbuckle, can you believe it? Fatty Arbuckle, instead, he signed with, or he was going
Disrespectful.
I know, he was going to sign with another studio, right? Maybe it was Paramount, I can't remember. Max Sennett didn't want that at all, and so he wanted to get some compromising, shit on him.
He wanted to blackmail him into staying with the studio.
So he got in touch with this woman called Virginia Rapé. Virginia Rapé was this sort of, I guess, kind of, she's painted historically as a somewhat sketchy girl who, whatever. Apparently, she was hired to get, at a party, to get, him drunk, or while he's drunk, exploit him, get him into a bedroom, and get some naked pictures of him, basically.
Yeah.
Okay? Turns out, though, that she ended up getting accidentally kicked in the abdomen by Fatty Arbuckle while they were dancing. It was this is what it later becomes. It was while they were dancing. And she bled to death.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Virginia Rapé, she died.
On a date with Fatty Arbuckle.
On a date, or, no, just like at a party where Fatty Arbuckle was, and when dancing with him. Mm-hmm. Well, and the whole reason that happened, or by design, that was because he was going to just blackmail him to stay at Max Sennett. But instead, what happened was, this tragic death. It was an accident, but instead, they tried to prosecute Fatty Arbuckle twice for murder. And it came out during the second trial. By that time, so it came out by the second trial that not only did he kick her accidentally because they were dancing, and that there was an accidental strike to her abdomen, but that she had recently gotten an illegal abortion, and there was scar tissue.
So she had internal bleeding.
So
did that him going on trial, did that at all play into Max Sennett's ploy at all, or did he completely lose control of the narrative?
Well, Fatty Arbuckle was destroyed.
Yeah, so he couldn't even use him anymore.
No, he was destroyed.
What a fucking
monster. His career was completely destroyed. It was the end of
crazy.
Fatty Arbuckle. He was never to return.
He never did?
To his earlier form in Hollywood. No, it was over.
Did he ever act again?
He did, but it was all basic, attempts at, reigniting. Fatty Arbuckle was bigger than fucking Charlie Chaplin at the same time. These guys were peers, and he was a bigger star. He had bigger box office because he was a comedic actor. He was incredibly agile. I don't know if you've ever seen Fatty Arbuckle's stuff, but it's fucking fantastic. And so anyway, this is how far this kind of shit can go. So I'll just say that. The other thing I wanted to say before we begin is that it is becoming potentially, at least, apparent that, with Ange Giannetti saying, hey, man, I didn't believe any of this was worthy of HR, these complaints. And then some of the stuff that you're going to read for us tonight, right, regarding Greenstein and so on and so forth. Greenstein, I don't know how he says his name. That Sony was, I don't want to say they weren't on board with Blake's problems, but that they weren't concerned about them.
Yeah, Sony only cares about Sony business.
Correct.
So anything that happens, as long as it's not going to derail the business, they're like, okay, can we ignore that then and move on?
So can
we just get the film done and in the can so we can market it?
Yeah.
So we can put it out?
I mean, the big chunks of business here is that Blake Lively signed on to a movie with a guy who called himself Man Enough, where he and his partner, Justin Baldoni and his partner, do a podcast with whatever frequency that is all about, disarming masculine toxic masculinity and and advocating for women through men who are recovered from their innate misogyny.
Here's the thing that
Is that a reasonable summation of that?
Yes, yes, you're right. But I also want to just elaborate on this. I've gotten like a clearer, broader picture of like what the actual issue was that made the cast and Blake Lively and Colleen Hoover want to walk separately from him. He thought that was a big deal because it telegraphed that there was disunion in his production. Okay. He didn't want people to think that there had been any sort of conflict before his movie came out. And mostly Sony was on board with him on that. They're like, this is ridiculous. Why can't we just all just do this one fucking marketing event? Just one event where you guys have to just like stand and smile. Like, is that too difficult? But it's very easy to see Blake Lively's position on this, especially when you hear from Jenny Slate, where basically they're like, okay, well, it's got to stop somewhere that the women around Justin Baldoni are co-signing his brand of being this like feminist ally, this guy who's like confronting and breaking down toxic masculinity. Like, he's going to continue to do this. The premiere is the biggest shot he has in the entire year to perform that character that he likes to play. And we know that he's a fraud, and we know that he's conning people, and we're not going to co-sign that with our presence. I think that they recognize that proximity to women all standing there and smiling together is currency, social currency for a man to continue doing the thing that he had been doing that tricked all of them in the first place.
Yeah, I mean,
so to me, it did seem like a really appropriate line in the sand for them to draw, where they're like, I'm not standing, because Jenny Slate said it the most.
But I wasn't actually
most clearly.
What I was trying to set up, which is like where we're going, because we're headed there.
Yeah, cool.
And we're going to read that. But what I wanted to do is I just want to set up like this basic framework for like their what I think we're seeing is a lot of Blake Lively being abandoned in her pursuit to reprimand or rebuke in any way Justin Baldoni from the Sony side of things.
Yeah.
Yes? So that just leaves it with her. And you do see some, and you'll read some of this for us tonight, but you do see some of, this, Ryan Reynolds' intervention, which makes sense. They're in the same business. They're basically partners. They're at the same fucking agency. They've got all the, they're all the same. They're all in the same soup pot, right? And so, there's nothing unusual there, in my opinion, going on.
For him advocating for his wife.
Of course not.
And business partner.
No, of course. There's nothing going on there that any person wouldn't do for their partner if they believe their partner is correct or right in this situation. And he makes some excellent points, and I'm excited to read his stuff for you guys, or that Angela will read it for us here momentarily. But and I think this complicates her case. Like I used to think, slam dunk on this. And there are some problems that she has with her case.
Oh, tell me what.
Because she has Sony saying, we didn't think it was that big of a deal. She has Angie Giannetti, who is still currently employed by Sony, saying, we didn't think it was a big deal. You have correspondence from Sony to whomever it was, and you'll read for it to us, you'll read it for us tonight, where they're like, exacerbated with this whole issue over the premiere, and just probably the conflict in general, which this, kind of foaming at this point at the premiere. So I think that makes it difficult when you're like sitting there as a jury and you're hearing about the problems. You're was she just problematic with these issues? I want to tell you something though. Yeah.
Sony's support mattered. I mean, she had Sony support where it mattered, right? Which is basically, I think it's going to be extremely compelling for a jury to hear that she put forward the 17-point documents, right?
Yeah.
And that all the Sony executive, when asked by Wayfarer, hey, can she do this? How is this? Like, what do you think about this? They were like, oh, well, yeah, this is all very normal and standard. They were in complete agreement of everything except for the fact that she wanted to bring on a new producer. They're like, I don't know if we can afford that. But other than that, every single other thing they said, the Sony executive was like, you should have already been doing all of this. All of this is very like, yes, absolutely sign this. Like, go forward. You should have been already.
Yeah.
You know? I think that that's going to be extremely compelling because it's possible.
And proving the underlying material, like the other underlying offenses, for lack of a better term, obviously in support of that document.
Yeah, and also that you have a really experienced producer in Alex Sachs who was talking about how abnormal everything was and how the set was a fucking mess and they weren't making time and that he was having these fucking outbursts.
And Giannetti called it herself a shit show.
Yes, exactly. And so I don't know that it's necessarily very relevant for them to think that the SH allegations were such a big deal, but they knew that the set was being run poorly, and so there's no question that these things that she complained about occurred. You're right. All the Wayfarer parties are in agreement that she was being truthful when she made these complaints about him. So
yeah, they were made in good faith.
They didn't conduct their HR protocol the way that they should have, the way that they say that they do in Wayfarer, and the way they're legally mandated to. So that's a slam dunk there. They just didn't fucking do it, I don't know that they're...
Well, when you say slam dunk, I mean, maybe you mean slam dunk that, they're going to be able to prove it, but I don't know what it's going to do to help her situation necessarily with a jury. It might, and it might not. I think that on paper, they look good ultimately. And I think that so far as we've read that they're we haven't read Blake Lively's, but we've read now Isabella Ferrar. We're going to read Jenny Slate, I imagine. Do we have her?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we have these other testimonies. We know these women had real experiences with these men and that those experiences were also, awful. And we know that Ange Giannetti calls it a shit show. And we also know that she is applying her standard of what is worthy of HR and not a standard written up in some guideline. That guideline presumably being, of course, Wayfarer's sexual harassment policies.
Yeah, right.
And HR policies. So that's all going to matter, and I'm glad you brought that all up because that's all obviously very important. I guess my sort of like what I find interesting today, and I don't think it for me it doesn't change anything about the way I feel about what's going on here or what has gone on here, I should say, and I guess is going on to a certain extent. But I do find it very interesting that Sony, because when we first read the praise that we didn't know who it was attributed to, which was Ange Giannetti saying, "Oh my God, your blood, sweat, and tears.
Yes, your
brilliant smarts."
I thought that indicated that was her attitude towards Blake the whole time, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
No.
It was not.
She's a bit of a two-faced.
No, I wouldn't even call it a bit of a two-faced. I mean, she literally went to the other extreme and called her a terrorist.
Well, I think the thing is that she is talking to Wayfarer people who want her to be venomous because they're being venomous. I think that there's I
wonder who the first person was to have called her a terrorist. That's a curiosity I think worth exploring.
Definitely Steve Sarowitz. That's sort of that topic, that whole area of thought is top of mind for him all the time. We also have Josh Greenberg talking about how Steve Sarowitz seems like he's really like chomping at the bit to do something disastrous, and so he's like trying to get everybody to control Steve Sarowitz.
Yeah, I think I read somebody that said that his deposition's a little unhinged.
Who, Josh Greenstein?
No, I'm sorry, Sarowitz.
Well, we read some of it. He seems really dismissive and sort of like, I'm not involved. I didn't know anything. However, everything that Justin Baldoni is saying is true, even though I wasn't there. That's all I got from it. It's
going to be a very interesting case because again, like, it's all about like these 12 jurors that they're going to sit before. And I think that Blake Lively's evidence is extremely strong. I think it comes shining through in much of the depositions that I've read so far. I do see some interesting, I'm going to call them problems for lack of a better term, but maybe they're obstacles. But there are these issues that I think they're going to be faced with in this trial that will, remember, you have to convince all the jurors. So if you have one juror sitting around saying, I don't know, dude, maybe she's just making a big maybe this whole thing is just a big damn production. And I think that Sony kind of opens that door with Ange Giannetti downplaying to the extent that she didn't think it was worthy of an escalation to HR.
I don't think it's possible because in this federal court, the jurors are going to be asked to determine whether the Wayfarer parties broke the labor laws or they followed the labor laws. They're going to be asked about specific
correct. That's very true.
in the law, right?
Correct.
So There's no nuance there. Did they follow the protocol that was set before them by the law, right? Like, did they do the thing you're supposed to do when somebody complains like she did? They didn't. And it's just there's so much evidence of retaliation. It's just overwhelming. So,
Before you start reading, let me just ask everyone to...
I don't even know what I'm reading first.
Like and subscribe to the channel. If you're enjoying yourself, and if you're new here, if you're not new here, then please, smash that like button, folks. Well, I think you should, first of all, I think you should start with all that stuff you were reading to me earlier, which was just crazy. It was like all the discovery, not the testimony.
Yeah, can you remind me?
Well, you read.
I've been like
Ryan Reynolds writing. Was it Zephron or what's his name? What's his name?
Warren Zavala.
Zavala.
Deanne said that Warren Zavala's deposition is so good.
Which one?
Warren Zavala.
Let's read it. Let's read it now.
I haven't read any of it. I don't know where to start. You want me to just read
page 1?
Okay. Here we go.
It's not going to be. I can't imagine it's so long.
You're right. I have 6 pages. Okay. Let's see what he says.
Yeah, here we go.
There may be more elsewhere. I'm finding that people are finding some things that I haven't found yet.
Yeah, I wish there was just there's not. It's weird that there's not just a centralized place that we can just go get it.
That's where I am. I don't know where everybody else is going. Okay, being questioned by Miss Garofalo, Warren Zavala.
Yeah.
Does this document refresh your recollection as to what Blake L. is? See, I think he's just being asked about the company.
Just read it. See what happens. We got word it was juicy. Let's maybe we got to cut through some of the
hang on a second.
leather
117, 118.
to get to the meat.
It starts at page 118.
That means nothing to me.
Is this the return to work? Just take a minute and look at the document. I'm sorry. Okay, so what is this document? Garofalo's asking. He said it's the return to work. What does that mean? Warren Zavala says, it's what was presented for her to be able to return to work and finish the movie. Okay, this is a list that was presented to Wayfair as a condition of Miss Lively returning to complete the movie. Is that a correct statement? He said yes. And if you know, was Miss Lively refusing to return to work on the movie if Wayfair did not agree to this list? And he said, that's my understanding. Let me just make sure. Oh, there's a big time jump. Okay, that's my understanding. I wasn't a party to the drafting of this or the presentation of, and it gets cut off. Okay, next chunk that we have is page 285. She's asking a question about Simple Favor is all that I can see. He said, yes, the Simple Favor thing was a sequel, and it was also a streaming deal, so I'd like to get a theatrical deal in the same zone. If not more, would be my hope, and get her to a better place financially. Okay, and you testified that there were no offers after It Ends With Us. He said no meaningful or real offers, correct? And you qualify it by saying meaningful. What do you mean by that? Warren Zavala says...
Well, Dale Wheatley called, and he was like, hey, I don't have any money, but a friend of mine's got a nice little house that you guys can use
for a film shoot
for free. I'll let you take my Kia. You can have my Kia, and we'll make a quick movie. 5 shooting days is all I need. All right, it'll be a short film, but maybe it'll be a feature film. Huh? What do you think?
He said, anybody can send a script that is remotely in the business who wants to put together a project. It doesn't mean that they have the money to finance it or make a bona fide offer or have a start date or have distribution. So,
hello, my name is Dale Wheatley. I am an independent filmmaker and I am hungry.
So a meaningful offer in my mind would be something that is either financed or has a distributor or has an element involved that is meaningful enough where we would, the movie's going to get done without her attaching herself to it. Okay, and have you noticed there being just generally less interest in Miss Lively in films? And he said yes.
Of course. I mean, it's so it worked. What they did, where in Judge Lyman's dismissal of the $400 million lawsuit, he said it appears that the Wayfair parties did what they said they were going to do, and there's some of that evidence right there.
That's all I have for that. I don't understand where Deanne is reading juicy depositions from him, and that wasn't it. So that was kind of a flat tire. I'm sorry, guys. But we learned that she wasn't getting any offers, which sucks.
What's a big deal? It's a
huge deal.
That's it's a major part of establishing defamation. Defamation has to come with damages. If there are no damages, there can't be any defamation according to most civil standards, civil litigation standards. So okay, well, that's all there was with that, huh?
That's all I had of that.
Do you want to read Josh Greenstein? Wait, well, again, where's the discovery? Let's read this discovery.
Okay, what would you like me to pull up?
The stuff that we read earlier. I can't. I just said this was the stuff we should read. The letter from, or whatever that bit you said. Look at what Ryan sends Zaffron, or whatever his name is.
We're in Zavala.
Saffron. What? Zavala?
Okay. Here's what we have here.
I can't remember everyone's name, and I refuse to.
This is from August 15th, 2024. So this is after the premiere, right? After the premiere.
Okay.
And then also after they sent the draft letter to Baldoni's people, trying to get him to admit that he knows what's up with them all being separate on the red carpet.
Right.
He's like, we just want the public to know from you that you knew we were walking separately and why we were walking separately, and that there's some beef, but it's cool. Like, that's what the draft letter said. And Baldoni was like, fuck this, I'm going to lawyer up. Okay?
Well, so I wouldn't characterize that as much as what they said. I mean, it was them taking responsibility, meaning that Justin Baldoni, and you're talking about the letter that they would sign.
Yeah.
Well, in that letter,
he's taking responsibility, but he has a chance to. He has a chance to. It's a draft, right? So he has a chance to rewrite it and spin it like everything's going to be fine. We're sorting through these things. But there is a very clear reason why we walked separately. We also saw in all of this this discovery today that his publicists are coming up with really great reasons to lie about why he walked separately, like really great ones. He's not doing promo. People are asking why he's not doing promo in advance of the film. And he was, and they were like, well, he just came out of the hospital just like a month ago, so he could have health problems. Or he could be like doing promo, doing something else. Like we could always just like figure out a way for him to have a scheduling conflict, or for him to be sick, or for, he has a family. He could be like hanging out with dealing with some responsibility with his family or something, like they were all, but he didn't want to take any of those things. He didn't want to explain it, He just I guess they just let it fester. And
well, he considers himself a victim.
Yes.
And instead of somebody who got shut down because he was running a shit show of a set, just to quote Ange Giannetti from Sony, right? So that's sort of the conflict there. So, and the consequences, of course, are what they are. And this went back to what I was trying to establish earlier, which is that, one of the things that I think is well established is that not just Blake Lively, but Blake Lively and probably Alex Sachs, certainly Jenny Slate, Isabella Ferrar is a definite. These women witnessed him Justin Baldoni, behaving in a manner, and in some cases Jamie Heath, behaving in a manner antithetical to their public image and the image that they project into Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And we have testimony of, and I believe that Justin Baldoni is an ingrate. He called the It Ends With Us the worst time of his life. It is just, I mean, my God, bro.
Impossibility,
It's just unbelievable. You're on a set of a fucking $50+ million movie when you put both pots of money together.
You are at the pinnacle of your professional dreams. So
Unfucking
far,
believable. You're
right?
working with an A-list
You're going straight
actor.
to the top, and it's the worst experience of your life.
The guy's an ingrate, man.
Okay, so you can't
was
handle
not
stress.
recognizing.
Like, you get that.
Did not recognize. It was all about like navigation. Like what people don't, what people maybe can't recognize from outside the business is that these things are just like, it's like being in a jungle in these situations, in these big giant movies with these big giant people. It's not like it's not like again, it's like a circus. They come together, and it's like they come together one time. Yeah, a lot of them have worked together on different projects, but every project has its own fucking vibe. It's kind of what is addicting about Hollywood and making movies, in my opinion, because when there's a real vibe going on in a movie, man, it's wild, and they're always different, even if you're assembling many of the same people. So anyway. I digressed a little bit there, but Do you want to? Where were we? I'm sorry.
Well, I just went looking for this. We got a new Justin Baldoni prayer group text where you were talking about how he was such an ingrate and he was like suffering so much, making his dreams come true.
Yeah, utter ingrate. But anyway, yeah, I mean, they had a situation where, well, anyway, I don't want to go back into it. You should read that.
That's what I'm looking for right now. Hang on a second. I just have to. I have all of this organized and labeled, so I'm just scrolling through. Please forgive me because there's so much that got dropped. Oh my God, there's also, we were talking about this yesterday. So the publicists were also talking about how he had a disastrous press event that they had to, and they were like, we have to.
Yeah, that stuff, like all that stuff. That's the stuff I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay, hang on a second. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find it. Here it is. Okay, Justin Baldoni talking to his prayer group. So this text thread with all of his buddies, it's called Baha'i Brothers. There's a bunch of dudes on this. And what they're all talking about is listening to a podcast of somebody who apparently had done an episode it's an episode of the podcast Cultish, where they're talking about the Baha'i faith.
Okay.
So their whole conversation is about how this person is being really mean about Baha'i. And they're calling it a cult. So then Justin Baldoni, he comes in with the longest text so far in the thread. He says, this is dated May 26, 2024. And I do kind of feel bad. I'm not insensitive to the fact that we're all reading publicly his very private messages to his Baha'i brothers. Like, this must suck for them. But I just feel like it's it is a worthwhile exploration into the psyche of this man.
Well, it's public domain now. That's the way it is.
And
if you don't want that, then don't get in trouble,
Yeah, I mean,
settle this shit.
You wanted to do reputational warfare. Here we are.
We just talked about it, man. He got a fucking letter that he could have negotiated on. In that letter, he could have taken some of the responsibility. He could have allowed some ambiguity to linger around the problems that people observed. But he could have found a way out of it publicly, and none of this would have happened. But no, he needed to go to war. He needed to activate Mars and get going. And, and here we are. And there he sits.
So this is May 26, 2024. So he's in the thick of this fighting with Sony about the cut and stuff, right?
Yeah.
He said, hey, gentlemen, on a separate note, I'm sorry I have not been very active on this thread. As Jamie, Steve, and Rain know, I've been going through what is arguably the most difficult and intense test of my entire life. Calamity is my providence type stuff, which I guess is a reference to some sort of religious story that they tell.
Some kind of text or something.
Calamity is my providence.
Yeah.
Okay. He said that's the sort of stuff he's been going through. Calamity is my providence type stuff. A test literally designed to be the worst case scenarios from my unique fears and insecurities. And isn't it interesting how that works? He thinks that it is a test literally designed to be the worst case scenarios from my unique fears and insecurities. And if this man doesn't get taken to a Jungian psychoanalyst, I swear to God, everybody's failing him.
He does.
Because what do you mean that you are being
that's
tested?
A broken brain.
Your unique fears and insecurities are being tested. That means that it's right on the surface. It is trying to emerge. It is trying to become realized in your conscious mind. You have to understand that the stress you're going through is testing you in a way that you're supposed to be tested. I don't know why he thinks that this is everyone else's problem. Okay. He said, I've had a year and a half of deep fear and pain and struggle and stress. Jamie has been a warrior and by my side in it with me and has also experienced a fair amount of it. I believe the next 2 weeks are going to find their way towards resolution of sorts, but I would love to ask this group specifically for daily prayers this week. It could be as simple as a remover of difficulty or protection prayer with my/our name on it.
I just can't. I'm so incapable of getting my head around any of that.
Of how these people think?
They have packaged up prayers?
Yes. I'm telling you, it's spiritual bypassing. Everything is just packaged. They're like, I would like to order a.
Yeah, hi, I'm in a little bit of trouble here. I'm going to need a few prayers.
Remover of difficulty prayer.
A remover of difficulty prayer.
For my calamity is my providence situation.
Wow. It really is. It's a spectacular thing. It's a
I
spectacular
hope to
thing.
one day be able to share with you the spiritual lessons I have learned during this process from a place of joy and gratitude. I recently have started to shift the energy to a place of how loved I must be to be experiencing this. But all I can say is that Hollywood is a dark and evil place.
This is what I'm talking about. Him being an ingrate, dude. Hollywood opened itself up
Fucking
to him.
leave then, bro.
Yeah,
Nobody
of
wants
course.
you there.
Like Hollywood is not
Dark and evil?
Yeah, nobody's chained
No,
you to
the fuck it's
anything.
not.
And they fucking opened themselves up to him, dude.
Unbelievable.
Like he's got a 104-year-old studio behind him. He's got a billionaire that helps him package up WME, one of the biggest agencies in the entire fucking world, package up movies.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Like nobody's making you fucking do business in Hollywood, bro.
All Hollywood was doing was saying, "Yeah, let's do it, bro. Let's do it, bro.
I know.
Let's do it, bro.
Let's make you rich."
Everything he has,
Yeah.
everything he has comes from Hollywood. Justin Baldoni only exists as a celebrity because of Hollywood.
I know it.
It started with Jane the Virgin.
It's the ingratitude.
It's the ingratitude is unbelievable. Just because, like any industry, bro, you can go into fucking radio sales, you can go into advertising, you can go into fucking retail, you can go into fucking service, hospitality and service.
This is why this is so
and you will
insightful.
find corruption. You will find
I know.
people who are
I
fucking
understand.
people over and backstabbing and trying to get their job over the other person's job. You'll find people harassing people. So that's not unique to Hollywood.
No. If here he is talking about how from the very beginning he's got this antagonistic attitude towards Hollywood, where Hollywood is a dark and evil place,
Right.
and here he continues. And it's just like, how are you ever supposed to succeed when you have this attitude? Okay?
Right.
But all I can say is that Hollywood is a dark and evil place, and I've been given a very unique test as someone who has for years tried to be a light in it.
Can you fucking believe the arrogance of this
I
human
don't know
being?
why you think you're going to get anything out of this experience if you're going into it feeling like you're fucking going to war, bro. Like, of course you're going to get a bad experience when you're thinking that you're trying to be a singular, teeny tiny little luminous light in a very dark and evil place.
Yeah.
Like, of course it's going to be terrible.
What, one movie at a time? Like,
course
what
you're
are you
gonna feel
what are you
bad.
fucking talking about? Like, you can't be a filmmaker and an actor
This, by the
and be
way-
that guy. You need to be like ahead of a union. You need to be like active
No, I know.
and trying to make Hollywood a better place. He's trying to make a Hollywood a better place by sitting on a set and calling fucking and telling Isabella Ferrar that her scene where as a 15-year-old she loses her virginity, that it was hot.
That she should seductively lick a spoon instead.
Yeah, that she should phallically suggest.
Because I don't know about Hollywood being dark and evil, but that's pretty fucking dark.
Let me tell you, man, I can't even believe
But
it.
also,
it's so funny because people are complaining about that, which is, and it's so funny because like when you go onto places like It Ends with Lawsuits or otherwise, you'll hear these people who are complaining about like they were like it was minor shit. It was minor.
Yeah, okay.
They want to talk about like they want to talk about like the evil Hollywood.
Uh-huh.
Evil Hollywood is complaining about them doing what their fucking friends are calling minor.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, evil Hollywood doesn't think that you should be calling your actresses sexy in their wardrobe.
Right.
That doesn't sound so evil to me. That
Yeah,
sounds
evil
pretty-
Hollywood says that you shouldn't be trying to
buttoned up.
sexually exploit your actors
That sounds pretty buttoned up.
on your set. Yeah.
Kind of keeping you under tight reins.
That
but
sounds like it's got some moral responsibility from it.
I also just love the total overblown hyperbole here. He said, but all I can say is that Hollywood is a dark and evil place, and I've been given a very unique test as someone who has for years tried to be a light in it. And meanwhile, he's trying to make the Pac-Man movie.
The fucking arrogance of this shit.
Meanwhile, he's trying to make the
Yeah,
Pac-Man
he wants to make the
movie.
Pac-Man. He made the Garfield movie. You know, he's like,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm changing the industry. Justin Baldoni is saving Hollywood. The fucking arrogance is just unbelievable. But to me, it's a level of delusion. Like, and it's a way to scapegoat. Like, I don't know. He's scapegoating himself through his high image of himself. I mean, it's the proposal video
also
over and
kind of-
over again.
It's kind of enlightening too, because here he's in this group. He sends this really long 3-4 paragraph message to all of his Baha'i brothers. And all that they do is come back at him with the most shallow platitudes that you've ever read. There's just like, they're doing this just like religious, like chirping of these little like religious speak that they do for each other. And nobody is asking a question, and nobody is actually like offering any substantive support. Like, like no clarification about what's happening and how they can help directly, right? It's always just like sending you love and light and brotherly support. Daily prayers coming your way, Justin, hang in there. And then he quotes, I know that thou art in difficulty, but this difficulty is conducive to the everlasting felicity, and this weakness is followed by the supreme strength. Like, that's a fucking word salad that doesn't mean anything. And this is all that they offer each other.
Yeah, it's all
I'll
just...
continue to keep you in my prayers. I feel like a page is turning soon. Prayers coming. Beseeching our beloved Hayden to intercede on your behalf, Justin. Like, but nobody is actually offering any substantial, like, friendship support, and I don't know.
Tell me what happened.
I don't know who these people are and
How
why
can
they're
we
so
help?
fucking weird.
Yeah. Mary says that she thinks that Colleen wrote the spoon scene in her book, but let me tell you why I know that not to be true, because Isabella Ferrar read the book 3 times. She read the book 3 times. She would have known that. There's no way that was the case, because...
I have the book right here. Let me see.
Yeah.
Just give me a minute. Let me just pull up the fucking cookie scene.
It would be very weird if Isabella...
She did not. She didn't have her seductively licking a spoon.
Like...
She may have had, like, them feeding each other.
By the way, the super creepy thing for me was, because, like I told you that he broed out with this dude between Blake Lively's legs in the birthing scene, right?
Yeah.
That was just a straight bro move. Well, what's the testimony that Isabella Ferrar said about talking to Alex and saying, yo, you should get to know Isabella, you know what I'm saying? And he gave him the fucking wink.
A wink.
You know what I'm talking about?
God, yeah.
I told you, this guy's like a bro dude. He's like a bro guy. It's like, yo, man, hey, listen, you want to look between the legs of Blake Lively? How's that for a fucking...
Here's the scene
Yeah.
that this person's referencing. What are you making? I asked him. I pushed my hands on the island and hoisted myself onto it. Cookies, he said. He walked the bowl over to me and stuck a spoon in the mixture. He brought the spoon up to my mouth and I tasted it. One of my weaknesses is cookie dough, and this was the best I'd ever tasted. Oh, wow, I said, licking my lips. He set the bowl down beside me and then leaned in and kissed me. Cookie dough and Atlas's mouth mixed together is like heaven, in case you're wondering. I made a noise deep in my throat that let him know how much I liked the combination. And it made him laugh, but he didn't stop kissing me. He just laughed through the kiss, and it completely melted my heart. A happy Atlas was near mind-blowing. It made me want to uncover every single thing about this world that he likes and give it all to him.
No licking.
There is no seductive licking of the spoon.
No.
She
tasted it.
He brought the spoon up to my mouth, and I tasted it.
She didn't taste it by blowing it.
Oh, wow, I said, licking my lips.
She didn't blow the spoon. She just tasted the fucking cookie dough. Justin Baldoni, on the other hand, was like, I think you should blow the spoon.
So Colleen Hoover knows how to write a flirty scene between teenagers.
Right, exactly. It's a flirty scene.
Where she's like, I really
tasting
like this
cookie
boy.
dough. It's innocent. It's not fucking dirty. So no, Colleen didn't write that in the book. And again, Isabella Ferrar claims to have read that book 3 times. If true, I think she would know. I would imagine she would take note of something like that in particular.
Okay, so here we go. I really, really wanted to tell you about how early on Justin Baldoni completely biffed a fucking press event.
By the way, before you do that, I thought I would do this if I could, and then I would love to get into that because, I want to also show that, like, first of all, like, I just think that Blake Lively doesn't help herself sometimes. And it gives these people, and I worry about this in terms of I say worry is very loosely, but it does make me wonder about how, the jury might perceive her if this kind of evidence gets in. And I'll share it with you momentarily. I have it right here, but for some reason it is totally...
I have it too if you want me to look for it, but I just I pulled up the Justin Baldoni's disaster appearance.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
She wrote this email to a person named Sarah. Oh, I know where to find it. There, that was easy. I made a comment about it. Yeah, here it is.
Excuse me.
So, This is an email. I'll actually put it up on the. Should I put it up on there?
No,
For
don't bother.
okay. This is an email written on July 7th, 2024, to her somebody she was working with, collaborating with somebody named Sarah Rule.
July 7th. So that is a month before the premiere.
A month before the premiere.
Yeah. Great.
And then she wrote this, and this is what I mean. This is what I mean by like I believe there's that she just this is where she puts her foot in her mouth and doesn't do herself any favors. She wrote the following in an email: "I'm so sorry. I've been under it since April. Really, I was filming one movie when the studio took the film from the director of the movie I was in post on and asked me to take over. So I have been re-editing the entire film. I brought on my composer, the whole team, and a whole team to redo everything. I just finished the final sound mix in LA yesterday, flying back now to do a final color time this week, and then I'm out from under this. The movie comes out in a month or so, and I'm diving straight into press. I hope to come up for air before that, though. I cannot wait to read this, and I'm excited to see what new ideas came out. I love that it spoke to you." And, it's just such a messy thing to say because there's no reason for her to really talk about this to this person. She doesn't need to tell people that Blake. So I want to just say, and whether, this.
I think it's good for these people, for the Baldoni fans to read that the studio took the film away from the director. I think that's important.
Well, first of all, I want to clarify that because it's not really true. The problem was that they had to deal with this fucking baby who wanted, it's my movie. They had this fucking baby. So they created this bake-off clause because the studio always has the final cut. This is always the case. Ange Giannetti explains it better than I ever have, but to the same reality, which is that studios decide which cut gets released. And by which cut, I mean, if they don't like the director's cut, or if they think there's problems with the cut, particular to their marketing strategies, the way that they want to position the film in the marketplace, then they will, with producers, this is a key note here, will do a studio cut. And they'll test both those cuts, and they'll test, especially if the studio cut isn't testing well. Mm-hmm. And that's how it always works. There are, you can count them on both hands, how many directors get director's cut for real.
Yeah.
Not like a fucking, okay, big boy, yeah, you get the director's cut. Yes, you do. Now you get to work, you big boy, you. Because that's the reality of it. So this notion that Sony took the film away, well, I suppose you could say is technically true. It's absolutely common. Nothing is unusual. There's no slight on Justin Baldoni here. A director's cut is more often than not the cut, by a large margin, more often than not the cut you'll see in a movie theater. In fact, you'll later get the director's cut on, a sub-release if it's that kind of movie, it's got that kind of popularity. That could have been the case for this movie. It was so big, especially if he had this, because he had this whole DV. This guy just didn't know how to use Hollywood and work with Hollywood and fit it like a puzzle piece. Because they could have easily said, okay, well, yeah, we'll do your marketing plan, which is what happened anyway. And then we'll do the DV stuff coming off of that with a director's cut coming in light of that.
Yeah.
And now you have this whole re-release you can do, new, exclusive streaming deal on it. There's all kinds of revenue opportunity for it. And it creates this exclusivity around Justin Baldoni as an artist on the project. So it's just an amazing, it's amazing to see. You can see it in the way in which they behaved and what you knew they were dealing with. Because they had every negotiating power. They had the leverage.
I wonder whether they could still do that because Wayfarer wanted to. Steve Sarowitz was talking about how he wanted Wayfarer to start their own distribution company. So I wonder whether they can do that.
Well, they're not going to get a distribution deal with it because
it's Sony's.
That's Sony's deal already. Sony has worldwide rights. That's a wrap. There is no. But that's not even the point. Forget about the distribution company. And yeah, that's cool. Start your own distribution company. Hardest game in the business. But and that's the fucking funny part of it. If Steve Sarowitz thinks he's bleeding money trying to make product, try fucking putting it out. You're gonna fucking lose your shirt, buddy. This kind of fucking email doesn't help her. I don't think it helps her the way she looks to the jury. I wish she'd stop doing this kind of stuff. I told you a story about how when I was like 17 years old, I got promoted in a telemarketing room to manager of an actual section of the room. I had like 25 or 30 people that worked for me. But I was like 17 years old, and I went to like a thrift shop, and I bought oversized suits, and I wore them. And before I wore them, I went and I put them on, and I looked in the mirror, and I was like, "Look at you, you fucking manager! You're the manager." I got a tie on.
Yeah.
It was horribly crooked. My shirt was garbage.
Are you saying that's what she's doing?
Yeah, this feels like her. Like, oh my god. I've just been so busy, you wouldn't believe it. Studio fired the director, and I had to come in and save the fucking day. And I've just been saving the day and saving the day and saving the day, and I'm bloody exhausted by it.
But where's the lie?
But I really can't wait to get to this thing that you've done, because I'm going to save it too, because what I do is just save days. Oh, the days are short, but the saving is long.
But where's the lie?
There's no lie. There's no lie. There's no lie there.
She's not lying.
No, there's not a lie here. Of course, that's stupid to call it a lie. What this does, though, is, it would be in their defense some idea that, is evidence that she had this motive so that she could do things like gloat about her, incredible schedule. It's just too much for me, because for me, like somebody who doesn't give a shit, somebody who just doesn't give a shit is saying, dude, I'm fucking shooting a movie right now. I'm in post on another movie. Each one of them have their own little shit show going on that I've got to deal with. So I'm buried.
Yep, that's it.
But to sit down and like fucking write out how the director. But first of all, the other thing that it does is it does passively aggressively disparage him.
Yes. Well, I'm sure that
or passively, I suppose.
I'm sure that is that's probably top of mind for her too. To disparage him, because he fucking sucks, and everything she's dealing with is because
okay,
he
but
sucks.
Don't put it in fucking emails.
No,
Have your conversations when you're out for drinks or whatever.
This is a woman who has like almost all of her personal placements in Virgo. She's going to be extremely detailed. Everything she does is going to be detailed. She's going to be parsing out pieces of information and sorting them out, lining them up. That's what her whole. That's how her mind works.
Yeah, and look at
Blake Lively is a detailed person.
Yeah. And I want to clarify that I'm fucking 100% on her side. I think he ran a shit show of a set. Ange Giannetti fucking confirmed it. I think he was way over his head. Ange Giannetti confirmed that.
Yes.
And I think that he was too egotistical. I won't call him narcissist either, but I will call him egotistical. That he was too egotistical to come down from his throne and be humble enough to understand that he had a whole lot to learn and organize and manage. And a lot more than he had originally anticipated, and that through that process, he was mistake laden. Mm-hmm. And instead, he's it's a Baha'i set, and everybody else is wrong, and blame, shifting the blame and deflecting the blame onto others. But so I just want to clarify, like I believe that what she endured was real. I believe what Jenny Slate went through was real. Isabella Ferrar and Alex Sachs are, to me, the two most profoundly important testimonies that will go down in this trial, and it will likely help Blake Lively win this case. But it will be these letters that fucking are that create the tiny obstacles and the opportunity to inject doubt, because this looks like a gloating, because it looks like somebody gloating over the fact that now what she didn't get into was the conflict that was largely between her and Justin Baldoni, not just between her and Justin Baldoni, but largely between her.
I mean, she doesn't get any credit for that, for not going into and shit talking personal grievances with him.
I'll tell you that, but that I have so much. If
we're going to scrutinize an email, doesn't she get some credit for that?
Well, I'll say that she held back. I gotta get no, she doesn't. She doesn't get credit for it because she doesn't need to say any of this shit. This should be shit that you have in private conversations if you're going to have those conversations.
But it is
I don't even think you need to be having those kinds of conversations.
But Dale, we are reading private conversations. That is a private conversation that you're reading.
Well, it's not, is it? See, this is the point. No, Angela, this is where you and I are we're going to part ways. You can't do this. This is a record. You're creating a record. She fucking knows that because she makes notes. She makes notes on phone calls. She's making records. This is a record. This is not just a conversation. A conversation goes up in the wind, and then fucking they call you to the stand, and they go, he said murder. I didn't. I said killed. Nope. As you said murder.
Okay, listen. I've gotten to know who Josh Greenstein is. I didn't know this person existed before today, but he apparently is very prominent in a lot of Baldoni's evidence.
Yeah.
As an unnamed Sony executive. Okay. But just so that we know who Josh Greenstein is, here is his letter to the PGA recommending that Blake Lively get the PGA mark. Okay. So here's what he says about his experience.
He's the president. Again, just to restate it again.
It's in the letter.
Okay.
To the Producers Guild of America, my name is Josh Greenstein. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Greenstein? I don't know.
Potato, right? Where is he? Is Potato with us tonight?
I am the president of the Sony Motion Picture Group. Like, big mahuff. Like, big time. Like, big top guy.
Yeah, very high up.
I am writing this letter to ask you that you please consider granting the PGA mark to Blake Lively for her producing role in It Ends With Us. We are distributing and marketing the film and have a sizable financial investment. Blake has recently been given producer's credit by Wayfair, who is a co-financier as well and oversaw the production. I can only speak to what I've seen with my own eyes, and Blake is the definition of a producer. In the post process, Blake's creativity and drive are an inspiration. She has worked tirelessly and collaboratively on every aspect of the film, from schedule, score, mix, edit, and of course the budget. Blake pushed us all to screen the movie several times in front of test audiences and dove into every card and every detail of the findings to improve the movie. On the marketing and distribution...
It's a fantastic quality. Couldn't be more Virgo.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more Virgo. It's just like, I mean, it's as good as it gets for producing. Is like, that really is pristine.
On the marketing and distribution front, Blake has been an incredible partner. She has been involved in every decision when it comes to dating the movie and determining the release pattern, as well as our international efforts.
Can we stop there for a second? Involved in.
Yes.
You know how everybody, like, you know, on the Spaldoni side, they want to scream about her taking over marketing. She's been involved in. There's a team of people run by this very highly paid individual for Sony Pictures, and they go in and they work together, and with that, she contributes.
When it comes to dating the movie and determining the release pattern, as well as our international efforts, she might be the best marketer of any producer I have worked with in my 25-year career, even way better than her husband.
I can't even tell you how massive that is.
Yes,
like, in terms of just like the reason why that's obviously so highlighted in his letter to the Producers Guild is because of the level of importance that is. I mean, I suck at that. I am a fucking deadbeat marketer.
She must have
I can assure you.
She must have been pretty happy. She's pretty proud to read this.
Good Lord.
We have marketing calls daily, and I am continually surprised and impressed with her grasp and mastery of the marketplace and the audience.
Stop again. Marketing calls daily. Mm-hmm. Marketing calls. That is a team of people. It's a team of people, dude, working and combing through the marketing ideas and understanding the demographic and the attack and, you know, and you know, the distribution and the numbers that they, you know, crunching numbers, doing all that shit. But the point I'm making, obviously, is that it's not Blake goddamn Lively. She is a speck. You know, she is an ingredient in a big cake.
She pushed us to make the trailer great, got us a Taylor Swift song, and helped launch the trailer to one of the biggest trailer debuts we have ever had.
I mean,
I can go on and on, but I strongly feel Blake is the definition of what being a producer is all about, and I implore you to give her the PGA mark. Best, Josh Greenstein, president of Sony Motion Picture Group. I mean, she got it. She won.
That's super impressive. Well, you know, look, you know, she knows the market that she. Well, I mean, maybe she knows more markets than just the sort of draw that is. It Ends With Us, which I guess is a largely female market. So
I just wanted to introduce him and how he feels about Blake Lively, because here is a text message thread with Ryan Reynolds and Josh Greenstein. This is from May 26, 2024.
Okay.
Ryan Reynolds is asking for support.
By the way, I also want to get to the Taylor Swift stuff at some point in this live.
Okay, wait. Sorry, I picked up the wrong one. That was Ryan Reynolds congratulating him
on a huge
success.
Angela.
Let me just find it. Forgive me. I thought that I was cataloging these really well so I could find them.
Apparently not.
Well, I put them in it by exhibit number because I wanted to know while I was reading if they're referenced in the depositions. I wanted to be able to pick them. I'm so sorry. I can feel the heaviness of the silence in our... Baby, do you want to talk about something while I find this?
I struggle with when people ask me, like, what's your favorite color? I'm like, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure sometimes. Sometimes it's black, sometimes it's gray, sometimes it's blue. It really depends what kind of blue. It's such a complicated question. So when people ask me, I get confused and I'm like, fuck, I don't really know exactly. I always just say blue, but I'm not even sure I believe that, you know? It's just not like an easy question to answer when you really start thinking about color. You know, there's just so many. So it just puts me on the spot sometimes. And I feel like, oh, this is a moment we're supposed to be getting to know each other. But yet I don't know really how to define exactly what is my best color or my favorite color. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how you guys feel about that. It can be crazy.
Okay, so I got it wrong. So the text I was looking for is between Ryan Reynolds and somebody else, but this Josh Greenstein happens to also be the guy who scolded Jamie Heath about not wanting to play ball. Do you remember?
Yes.
So in their text message,
that's such a juicy thing.
In their evidence, they wanted to. They had this, like, you know, Brian Friedman was writing all this fucking hyperbole about how Blake Lively was holding the trailer hostage, but his evidence showed very much to the contrary, that this Sony executive was saying, we got Blake to approve the trailer, everything's going well, she needs a few more days in the edit. And then Jamie Heath was saying, well, we don't want to give her a few more days in the edit, we want her to sign her contract, and I'm going to make that an ultimatum. Josh Greenstein gets on a phone call with him. And
by the way, if I may,
he wasn't named before, but he's named now.
Yeah.
And he comes back and he says, you guys don't want to play ball. You are going to delay and greatly hurt the movie. Good luck. That is it. Only if you want to make this date, we're going to need to finish director's cut, and we could have multiple previews down the road. So I didn't know that was that guy.
Yeah, so that's a very that's a scathing thing for a major studio exec to be saying to your co-production studio head. That is a majorly scathing thing.
Jamie Heath got that from this guy, who's the president of the Sony Motion Picture Group.
So I want to also put forward just my theory about this, which is that I believe that Jamie Heath was trying to leverage that because he knew that she was going to go for a PGA mark, Producers Guild. Pardon me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If she signed the contract as it was written, she would be given an executive producer credit, and she would have in signature form an agreement to that. And so he would have an easy enforcement of the contract and say, no, you're getting an executive producer credit, and that's it. You follow?
Yes.
So I believe that he was trying to coerce her into signing that contract so that he could have more leverage on her in negotiation of the producer credit. Because we see that he is vehemently opposed to her getting the producer credit, despite the fact that Josh Greenstein just laid out an incredible track record on this film that resulted in a almost $50 million box office run, which, by the way, just in case you don't know, often doubles in the life of the film.
So they're going to continue making money off
hundreds of millions,
and they're saying, and Baldoni's saying it's the worst experience of his life.
Yeah, and all they're doing is printing money. Their checks are obviously they're spending a lot of it on this, I would imagine, or will.
Okay, so here is a text message. Can you look up who Patrick Whitesell is? I don't know who this person is.
Patrick who?
Patrick Whitesell.
Sounds like a bad diagnosis.
It's
Patrick
WHITESELL.
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 Sounds like an oxymoron now. Okay, let me see.
Guy?
Patrick Whitesell is an American businessman, executive chairman of Endeavor.
Oh, okay, cool. So Ryan Reynolds, we have text messages between him and Patrick Whitesell. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick, do you have a couple minutes to chat? I'm in London. I have a call with Feig from 5:30 to 6. Then I'm free until 9. Before I leave for Brazil. Wow, these guys are real jet setters. So Ryan Reynolds said, rats, just tried you. And I thought that was interesting.
He said rats?
Yeah, he said rats. I like that. I like when people do that when they go crud.
Not crud. Blimey.
Okay. okay, what Patrick Whitesell, they're trying to coordinate, and then he goes, "We'll figure this out." I have no idea what they're talking about. But Ryan Reynolds continues. This the reason why I brought this up is he says, "Thank you, PW. I think ultimately the guy needs to comprehend the stakes." I'm assuming he's talking about Baldoni. He is an inexplicably toxic mess, to say nothing of the fact he presents as a feminist ally / warrior when he's actually a thoroughbred predatory fraudster.
Who is this?
Ryan Reynolds.
Exquisite.
Talking to Danny will be helpful. I don't want to prescribe anything. I want to enlist Danny to help. I'd like to present options. Justin should be writing 15-page apology letters to Blake and dozens of other folks from the film. Instead, he continues to attack Blake, and before long, she's going to stop protecting him from the other cast and crew who want to hold him accountable. He's a bit Trumpy in the sense that he just labels everybody else the very thing he is himself. I'd put Blake's reputation on trial any day of the week. She's worked with Oliver fucking Stone and dozens of other mercurial and abusive people. In her experience and mine, nobody has ever reached the Empyrean heights of vile the way Justin Baldoni has. His complete lack of not only remorse but self-preservation is a character study in malignant, lazy-lidded stupidity and darkness. I'd much rather focus on what's important, but this thing has to be dealt with, and I'm happy to jump in with Danny whenever you feel it's the right moment. I'll be very calm, diplomatic, and solution-oriented. That was from July 17th, 2024.
I mean, what a man! What a fucking! I'm so envious of his writing.
I know. He's a clever Clifford.
He can twirl the words.
But there is a lot of this. Ryan Reynolds is trying to, especially when all of the press seems to be anti Blake Lively. He is trying to get some people to come to her assistance, or at least to speak up. Like he sends text messages to Sony people saying, like, if any of you guys could say that you know that the narrative being put out about her fucking taking over wardrobe and all of this other bullshit is nonsense, that would be really fucking great. And they don't. And they don't. Okay, so Warren Zavala, who is this guy? Do you remember?
He is Blake Lively's agent, I believe.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Ryan Reynolds is trying to get Alex Sachs to speak.
Imagine like having a $350 million box office success and then no job offers.
Yeah,
and you're the star.
It's unbelievable, bro. Yeah, she talks about it, how what doesn't kill you makes you $50 million in the opening weekend. She said that. Okay, so this is a text thread between Ryan Reynolds and Warren Zavala, where he is asking if Alex Sachs is willing to speak, even on background. Because they all know that a bunch of other people who were cast and crew are in agreement with Blake Lively, and that they all experienced bullshit from Baldoni.
Alex Sachs asked for Justin Baldoni to be replaced as the director.
Alex isn't willing to speak even on background. Warren Zavala says, she definitely was walking it back with me and Jamie. Jamie spelled differently than Jamie Heath. I don't think it's Jamie Heath. But the crux of the issue in terms of this article is that she truly... So this is dated August 15th, 2024. So this is a bunch of articles are coming out after the premiere, okay? But the crux of the issue in terms of this article is that she truly believes Blake and Jenny, but did not witness instances that they shared with her. She was yelled at, treated poorly, and think they are assholes, her word. So she can't corroborate what Jamie would need. Warren continues, from my earlier conversation, she was an advocate for Justin being replaced on the movie and was told that was impossible. Also sent her secondhand knowledge of the complaints from both Blake and Jenny to others. Ryan Reynolds is saying, why can't she speak on background to that then? That seems relevant. Just feels like someone needs to advocate for Blake, and this would be on background. She feels very alone. And I have this, Warren says, I have the same concern. I don't think any of her colleagues are advocating for her. Ryan Reynolds says, I feel like the cast needs to make a statement altogether. People have reached out to Blake who worked with him on other projects and had unbelievable experiences as well. Ryan Reynolds continues, he goes, a creepy guy buys the rights to a film about domestic violence. He acts creepy on set, creeps out a lot of members of the cast and crew, including me. He bites my lip during a kissing scene, despite that not being talked about at all. So I guess he's speaking on behalf of her, I guess. Mm-hmm. He bites my lip during a kissing scene, despite that not being talked about at all. One of a half a dozen incidents like that. We have competing cuts because his first cut included simulated penetration of a 15-year-old girl. I fucking called it. I said that is why they had to re-edit the film, was because he had made a porno movie.
Yeah, and apparently he had. You want to? I would love for you to read that for us, maybe even tonight if we have time. Which is Colleen Hoover's response to her notes, and having seen both cuts.
Yeah.
Marveling at whatever changes she made.
Ryan Reynolds says, we have competing cuts because his first cut included simulated penetration of a 15-year-old girl, not in the book or script. I was mortified. I had had enough of his male gaze on a female subject matter. We market the movie to not feel like homework, to get as many people to see this film in the hopes of creating a cultural moment to converse about DV. Instead, the conversation becomes what a mean girl I am, which is sad, but not for me. I'm so sorry for any DV survivor who feels like we didn't represent their story properly.
I'll tell you, just to interject here, is this she gets criticism, and they got criticism, did the rest of the cast, about this, trying to, evade the domestic violent aspects, or
but this makes a lot of sense, where they're like, I'm just trying to open the conversation in a lighthearted way.
This is how the studio sees it too. The studio is going to see, that's not how you put butts in. You don't put butts in seats by saying, hey, come watch this guy beat this girl and then we can talk about it. You put butts in seats by creating a story of inspiration, of epic, scope.
I'll read that next, about how Justin Baldoni's PR people are absolutely freaking out about how dark and heavy he keeps making his promo, and how they're like, this is not going to fucking work. We need to rein him in or stop him.
Yeah.
But Ryan Reynolds continues. He says, I am so sorry my hair care brand launched in August, a date that was decided last December, and then the movie had to move later in summer because of the post-production issues. But honestly, this guy is a creep. Watch his podcast. Is he a feminist?
That's a really important point, boy, because there's for example,
that her hair care brand launched. Just happened to align with the movie premiere.
Well, by virtue of the fact that there was a push, which happens.
Yes.
And they were probably trying to figure out how to launch it without it getting interfered with. And when you're doing a launch like that, those things end up on the shelf. Sony president Sanford Panich on Blake Lively, the hair sell at the same time was epic level stupid. She did it to herself. This is a quote.
You see what I mean? It's fucked up, dude. She doesn't have anything to do with that.
That's right, because they always take things out of first of all, this guy,
because these people don't ask.
This guy Sanford Panich should fucking know that she's not sitting there in making these decisions on her own.
Can you look up that name? Well, I'm going to read the rest of this, but will you
Sony
look up what
president.
This name is?
But do you know what I mean? Like when we get options. We were told when we were selling Don's Plum with that they were like, dude, wait until Titanic comes out. Leonardo DiCaprio will blow the fuck up, and your movie will make a lot more money. And we were like, no, we don't want to do that. We want the movie to take off on its own, or it doesn't. We want to live and die by this movie. We don't want to use the James Cameron's movie.
And then the movie had to move later in the summer because of the post-production issues. Ryan Reynolds continues. But honestly, this guy is a creep. Watch his podcast. Is he a feminist, or is he a creepy guy performing as a feminist? It's the fucking latter, I assure you. Kudos to his very good PR team. Warren Zavala goes, on a positive note, Courtney Valente wants to find a few movies with her. Could not be more complimentary of her work. She said there should be a study of her ability to sell this movie to where it is. Other guy was made roadkill, obviously. Ryan Reynolds says, that was very nice of her to say, and yes, Blake did something exceptional with this, and it should have changed the entire game for her, but I'm not certain she's ever going to want to do this again. Warren says, I completely understand her feeling that way. Don't tell Blake.
I don't. That's ridiculous. Oh, everybody is Justin Baldoni. Don't be a fucking, don't project onto everybody your one experience. It's just silly. It's like, I have PTSD. I mean... Oh,
also Warren says they've also asked her to host the season opener of SNL. Now is not the time, obviously, to talk about it. Depends on how everything goes, I would think. So isn't that fucked? That she was going to lose hosting SNL, and how fun that would be? That's fucked up. I hate that.
So I don't know who the Sanford Panich was promoted to president of Sony Motion Pictures Group.
Are you serious?
In 2019.
He's in these text messages talking more shit than anybody. I can't believe the mouth on this guy.
He was formerly the president of Columbia Pictures.
How weird. That's so strange. I wonder if like one of his kids stole his phone or something.
So I guess like they just crossed the hall. They're like, "Yep, got promoted. Gonna go over across the hall here," because Columbia is Sony. In case you didn't know.
Okay, so I have. What was it I said?
Do you wanna feel old? You know how like when
what was I gonna grab next?
so when I was
yes.
when Macaulay Culkin was outed as 40 years old. I don't know how old he is now. Yeah, somebody was like, somebody said, "You want to feel real old?" Macaulay Culkin is 40. It made me feel old. Like I definitely like. I was like, "Damn, dude, I've been around a minute." Wikipedia turned 25 today, or like maybe this month, not today necessarily. Isn't that crazy? Wikipedia's 25. Oh my God.
Kind of not in that headspace, babe. I'm looking for more shit to.
Hey, I'm just getting struck by something.
We're in the
okay?
fucking deep dive, and you're talking about.
I've been having that.
Topics.
I've been having that all day. Like I put 186 for the episode number for today, and I was like, "Holy shit! I've had 186 cups of tea with these guys. 186 cups of tea. I'm gonna have to like figure out what that like how much that costs for every cup of tea."
Okay, this is a juicy little thing I found for you guys. This is so unbelievable. So.
Okay.
I gasped when I read this.
Well, let's see if we do.
So this was dated. Let's see how early on in their promo this was. I wondered why they were trying to keep such a short leash on Justin Baldoni. Like all of the publicists are always like really, really wary of sending him out. And a lot of them are talking about how he just talks too much. So they'll have like, these press junkets where you have like 1 minute, 3 minute, or 5 minutes with all these people. And it's like a big carousel. It's like speed dating, right? But he'll like go into these long narratives and they just simply don't have fucking time. And he doesn't give anybody any sound bites. Okay?
Yeah.
But what really it seems is that from the beginning of August, before the premiere, this is dated August 5th, 2024. So like the week before the premiere, he went on the Dallas Morning News program.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And he said the most heinous things that his publicists were considering just completely calling it off because he cannot. Okay.
Yes.
The quote from the Dallas Morning News interview. Justin Baldoni apparently said this. "For me, what that scene was more about was Ryle feeling like he had lost all power and feeling so insecure and jealous that the only way in his mind that he could show her, Lily, how much he loved her was, and I won't say the word that we used in developing it, but what was essentially to force any love she had for Atlas out of her. So Ryle's motivation, if you're talking about character motivation, or why he did what he did from the filmmaking perspective and from the actor perspective, was he was trying to, in his twisted mind, love Atlas out of her. There's another word we used, and I'm sure in your imagination you can go there.
Boink. He used boink. Obviously, he said boink.
The word is obviously boink.
He doesn't want to say boink because it can be offensive to some people. Anyway, but he's going to boink Atlas out of her.
This is
obviously.
This is the subject line is "It ends with us." Josh call. "Hey Jacob, I just alerted Josh about this, but Justin is basically alluding to raping Atlas out of Lily when talking to the Dallas Morning News. We cut the tape, but he is a moron. Josh said he shouldn't do any more press, but he has a lot left, so maybe we could talk ASAP."
Who is this?
This is Danny Magan is contacting Jacob Johnson.
In a fit.
Yes. Jacob, he says he wants to do a call with Justin and his publicist. We'll see if that's still what he wants. Unbelievable. And so his publicists obviously are like aghast. Like, we cannot let him just go out there. So they start like really preparing him. And there's a ton of, in this new evidence that has dropped, it's a bunch of him sharing these long narratives about apologies and congratulations and thanks and like these long notes that he'll send to all of his publicists and Jamie Heath, and they'll all workshop like how to fix his messaging. So it's like basically he's using them as his like secretary or his editors, and they're constantly having to do this with him. And it's and they're doing it because they know that if they just let him go and like improv, that he'll do something like this. And like, I don't know what goes through your mind.
No, his deposition's a disaster. He has 6-minute answers.
Yeah.
He goes on soliloquies that are all self-aggrandizing.
You don't go in the Dallas Morning News and talk about a rape scene in your movie. You don't do that. What is this? Europe? You think you're a French filmmaker? You can just talk about that kind of stuff at the Dallas Morning News? Conservatives watch the Dallas Morning News. It's just bonkers to me.
Patrick Whitesell, by the way, his face, which is looking back at me right now, he looks like, there's people you look at and you're like, I can totally imagine your skull.
Yeah.
Like I can see his skull. Like it's not because his face, like we thought. By the way, I saw some Ryan Seacrest, and that picture we saw where it had all that pronouncement and stuff.
Yeah, where
it wasn't on the photograph I saw. Like I just saw a recent photograph, and he looked kind of normal.
Yeah. Well, is he getting photoshopped? I mean, is he getting airbrushed?
Well, it could be the other way too. Anyway, Patrick Whitesell here, he's not being, photoshopped, but he's looking back at me, and I'm like, dude, yeah, I know exactly what your skull looks like.
A lot of people are talking about the texts between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift, and just like everybody who with half a brain knew from the very beginning, like she never stopped supporting her.
By the way, can I just ask for some? I need to solicit likes just because I think we had a lot of potential like Justin Baldoni supporters, and they once they figure out that we're not, reading from the same, they usually dislike, and I can't see likes or dislikes, but right now I'm soliciting likes. That is all.
Oh, also, it seems like there is something to the conspiracy theory that Blake Lively and Colleen Hoover were conspiring to create the sequel together. So,
oh yeah, I got that. This is nonsense. That's garbage. Did you read it?
No, I mean, it seems like Colleen Hoover said this video is going to be mine and Blake's inspiration for It Starts With Us.
That's nothing. That doesn't mean anything. There's no conspiracy to fold into the next.
They were right. We got to give them that one.
It doesn't mean anything though. Like that doesn't mean anything. Like obviously they're going to talk about Blake Lively being in a sequel of a fucking $350 million success story, if it's possible. Obviously. She didn't have a sequel clause though. That's the other thing is like people are like, oh, she's so good, to steal the sequel. She didn't even have a sequel clause in her she wasn't thinking sequel at all. So stupid.
Oh, this is really interesting. So the PR they shared notes from a phone call with Jamie Heath, I think, after that big blow up. I thought this was really juicy. They're just notes from a phone call, so we don't know exactly what was said. Fuck, I need to find it.
Oh, listen to this. While you're looking, I just found this from It Ends With Lawsuit. Here's a quote from Blake. There's nothing to get, I don't know who she's talking to. There's nothing to get back to. I think it's Warren, her agent. And because they're talking about like Blake Lively, I don't know, whatever it is. Anyway, she says, there's nothing to get back to. They should show me the movie. I'm an EP and they need me to be engaged in this thing during production and in press. His entire sales pitch is how collaborative he is and how much he values women, yet they're not going to allow me to see the movie. I've never not been invited to the edit room for my opinion, much less had to beg to see additional scenes of dailies.
Yeah, that's lame.
His promises of how he works so far have proven to be empty, and I'm not going to engage with the film if this is the way they play it. And this is what they're calling him threatening, or her threatening. Her
when she said the
promotion to promoting the film.
It wasn't the gloves come off because that was later. Nobody ever heard her say that, but I remember after Jamie Heath wanted to withhold the PGA mark, she said, all good will between us is gone.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah, well, this was 8/29/23.
Yeah.
This thing was a text.
Yeah, that was right when they started
from
editing.
8/29/23, and look, dude, it's.
How do you feel about this?
This text?
Like your professional opinion about that?
Yeah, I think that they, as I've believed all along, I think this just shows how they have no idea how to manage their talent.
Do you think she's being unreasonable?
Not even remotely.
Do you think that they had any reason to not just understand her perspective?
What do you mean by that?
Like, it seems as though they didn't want to listen to her perspective about it. You say she's being reasonable.
She is.
Do you think that there's any reason why they didn't want to understand her perspective?
They didn't like her.
That's it. That's the only reason.
I think that's what it is.
He didn't like her.
The only thing I think is that they didn't like her. The only thing I can, and listen, I think that Blake Lively has these quirks about her that make how they're like back in the day, Ethan Suplee, bro. Everybody would just like throw themselves on the sword for this guy. Like they just loved Ethan Suplee. Everybody. He showed up in her. This fucking guy would walk into a room, and then before he left the room, everybody was like, half the room never met him. They're like, fuck, I love that guy. Who's that guy? They just fall in love with him. And there are, obviously women who are the same, where you're just like, oh my God, you're the best person ever. And I think Blake Lively is not one of those people. I think she's like me, where people are, people got to get to know you. And even when they get to know you, they're like, did you have to say that? Or did you have to do that? You know what I mean? So I think that Blake Lively has some trouble with rallying troops in that way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I do. I think that, yeah. And look, I mean, this is all speculation.
Why should she have to, though? Like, it seems...
Well, it's a great point.
She's talking about how this is usually pretty fucking standard. So
yeah.
Why should she have to rally any troops?
It's a great point.
It really sucked reading that Ryan Reynolds had to ask everybody for, like, hey, can somebody show... I know you guys are supportive of Blake Lively behind the scenes, but can somebody maybe voice some support for her? Like, I understand that that didn't end up happening. Sony ended up putting out a statement, like... I recall the headline from, I think it was Deadline or something. It was like Sony chief supports Blake Lively or something. But that was it. That's all they got. So here is Katie Case made notes from a call with Jamie and Tara. This is from July 25th, 2024.
Yeah.
It's really long, but apparently this looks like it was notes about the July 25th, 2024. What was going on then? That was right before the premiere, right?
I'm sorry, I got lost in Sanford's email. It's fucking gnarly. Oh, it's like a text actually between Sanford and some other person.
Yeah, can you believe how this guy talks?
I can't, man.
He's an executive and he talks like this?
It's quite ironic because she has a huge hit movie headed to $300 million plus and probably will never work again, or not for a while, although even Hathaway recovered. Tom thinks she's probably, and bizarrely, unhirable right now. This will pass, said the other person. She will be fine. An apology to that reporter would help. Something to survivors, too, other than a 24-hour thing on her Insta stories, too. Sanford Panich comes back in and he says, no, disagree. She is done for, at least for a while. It's cooked. She said she was retiring to Josh or something. It will take a few years. Eva Mendes time. She did it to herself. If she just let them come to the premiere, or didn't make all that cast unfollow him or kick him off the movie, or did what everyone has done in show business for time immemorial, which is to protect the show, when none of the sleuthing would have happened. The hair sell at the same time was an epic level stupid. She wouldn't listen. She knows better. International is astounding at 150 and 150 and could be more.
See, he doesn't understand what happened. He's just reading the tabloids. That's crazy.
Well, but he might be judging it from the tabloids. Like he might be like,
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
that's exactly what.
But not necessarily as fact, because he also says prior to this, like he says, bizarrely unhirable right now.
Do you want to hear this thing?
She did it to herself. If she just let him come to the premiere, or didn't make all the cast unfollow him, and she did, according to Colleen Hoover, Colleen Hoover did unfollow Justin Baldoni at her request, which is weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
And I don't understand why she did that. Mm-hmm. And these are the things like, what are you doing? What are you fucking doing? And I understand some of it because I understand that the three of them, that would be Slate, Lively, and Farrar, all believe that this guy was a threat to women. Mm-hmm. That this guy had created this trap for women to walk into and for him to do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, and I, like I said earlier, it's really, he really needs to have women by his side to co-sign that image, right? If he's standing alone as some sort of ally to women and women don't want to associate with him, then nobody's going to buy his what he's selling. You know what I mean? And so I think a lot of these women understood that they were being used as tools by him to uphold that image, and they didn't want to do that anymore.
This is why the Sony stuff is messy for her. It's just messy for her because, like, you know, if this makes it in, and it probably will, if this makes it in, and they're like, you know, they get to ask questions. What do you mean?
I think the reason why
she
we're
did it to
seeing
herself?
this, I think the reason why we're saying this is because it's being asked in depositions. So they're referencing the exhibits that they're showing in depositions.
Sure, yeah, it's discovery, so I'm sure somebody had to answer to it.
It probably is going to be trying to admit it in the jury trial, right?
I would imagine that Baldoni's side wants it in. This is not good for her. Mm-hmm. It's terrible for her, actually. I would call it terrible. Especially like whoever it says all this is true at the end of it, to whoever, you know, whoever it was that was receiving or whatever in this conversation. But yeah, there's no way that's good for her. That's bad for her in every possible way. And look, it's bad for her because it's Sony. It's the exec. Again, I was really sure that Sony was going to be on her side, frankly. I mean, this whole time, I brag about being right so often in this case. I was dead wrong about Sony. I thought Sony was going to be ringing her bell, and they're not. And what's more interesting is that, or they weren't. And what's more interesting about that is the correspondence, whatever the conversations from Ryan Reynolds to Sony about it. Or maybe it was to the agent, but either way about Sony, right? And why aren't they standing up for her? She hits a home run for them and they're like, see ya. Oh, fucking Hollywood, baby. Welcome to it.
Oh, I also saw it's interesting whenever Justin Baldoni's PR people are talking shit about him behind his back. You know? He blames Colleen Hoover and her betrayal. He calls it a betrayal for putting him in the hospital, and all of his PR people are like gossiping with each other, where they're like, didn't he just go to Cabo and get like some experimental stem cell injection into his fucking spine? That's why he's got a spine infection.
Maybe don't stick needles in your spine.
He did that like last month, and he's in the hospital this month with a spinal infection. I'm pretty sure that's what did it. When you go to Cabo and you get stem cells in an experimental treatment.
Yeah, is there anything on Liz Plank? Do we have anything from Liz Plank? Did she get pulled in at all?
She did, yes.
Junk Farm saying, I'd love to know why she left skid marks running away.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. We have Liz Talbot, not Liz Plank. I'm sorry. I knew we had a Liz. Elizabeth Talbot is the intimacy coordinator. Yeah.
Oh, Mary's saying the dislikes are just as good. All right. Well, fuck you too, then.
What do you mean? Dislikes are just as good?
For engagement in terms of the algorithm. I guess controversy sells. Controversy.
That's weird, though.
Am I gonna get in trouble? Did I just get in trouble?
Oh, for singing Prince. Well, I guess we'll find out. Don Saladino has submitted a declaration, which is like...
Sounds like a pizza place.
It is my favorite name of a personal trainer I've ever heard in my life.
Sounds more like a pizza place, though. Saladino's Pies.
He's like this big, like, muscular dude named Don Saladino, and he's gonna...
What do you say? What's his declaration say?
He was just talking about how he has to keep answering this question over and over again to the court that Justin Baldoni was not his client. So when he talks about how he was like, I was talking to my personal trainer who was helping me with my injured back, and I asked him of what Blake weighs. That was a totally valid conversation. And Don Saladino is like, first of all, it's bullshit. I didn't work with you. I never fucking met you. I don't know why you asked me those questions. I was appalled. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
On or around January 22nd, 2023, with my agreement, Ms. Lively shared my contact information with her co-star, Justin Baldoni. That same day, he reached out to me. I communicated with Baldoni both over the phone and by text on a handful of occasions. Primarily in February 2023, he provided information on his nutrition and workout regimen. His existing workout program included regular back extensions. I recommended Mr. Baldoni a workout program and provided information to him about my standard nutrition plan. I also recommended a specific individual who lived near Baldoni at the time and who could act as his trainer. I did not receive any payment from Mr. Baldoni. I never met him in person. I did not consider myself to be his trainer, and Mr. Baldoni did not give any indication that he understood me to be his trainer either. I regularly advise clients to avoid arching their lower back when working out, as doing so creates a risk of injury and generally reflects bad form. I gave Baldoni the same advice, which is not specific to him or based on any suggestion he had a back injury. Indeed, consistent with my understanding of his health, I recommended exercises to him and that I would not recommend to someone with a back injury. At some point during his training for the film, Mr. Baldoni called me on the phone. I recalled that Mr. Baldoni asked me how much Miss Lively would weigh by the start of filming. He said that he was asking about her weight in connection with a scripted lift scene, suggesting that he needed to know Miss Lively's weight to determine whether he could perform the lift. Mr. Baldoni's phone call made me very uncomfortable. I have never experienced someone reaching out to me about a client's weight. I felt that Mr. Baldoni's explanation for his question was dishonest, given that, based on my understanding of Mr. Baldoni's workout regimen, he would easily be able to perform a lift in a range that would include Miss Lively. I refused to answer his questions about her weight, and I told Miss Lively about his inappropriate questions. Miss Lively seemed embarrassed and hurt that Mr. Baldoni had asked about her weight without her permission. Given my relationship with Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, my family and I suffered great personal and professional consequences after litigation between Miss Lively and Mr. Baldoni began. Those have included harm to my online business and death and rape threats directed at my family. I've never before experienced anything close to the negative commentary and threats that I've experienced this year. And he signed his declaration.
What a fucking shit show.
Good job, Baldoni.
Can you imagine? Like, fuck yeah.
Way to go, pal.
Yeah, and at no point did Justin Baldoni ever stand up and say, stop. In fact, what they did was they bought a gas can filled with gas called Brian Friedman, and they poured it all over their case, and they lit it aflame. Where's Blake Lively's fucking deposition?
Yeah, where is Blake Lively's deposition? How come we don't get to see hers?
I want to see this shit dropping, man. Come on, let's go.
Okay, here's the Taylor Swift text that I did find. I'm still not through. There's a whole batch that I still haven't gone through. This is on December 21st, 2024, right after her lawsuit was filed and the New York Times article came out, okay?
Uh-huh.
Taylor says, "You won. You did it." She linked a Deadline article. Justin Baldoni dropped WME, Blake Lively sexual harassment complaint. Okay, so it's an article about how he got dropped by his agents. Taylor Swift says, "And you fucking helped so many people who won't have to go through this ever again. Never has a cancellation been reversed so fast. You guys don't understand how rare this is. To have proof and to take the perfect steps to bring that truth into the light." And Blake Lively said, "I love you so much. I would not be okay through any of this if it weren't for you." And then Taylor says that one of the PR people called to get info on Blake.
Can you read it one more time?
No.
Yes. Read it one more time for me,
You were
please.
distracted?
Yes, read it one more time
Well,
for
why
me.
don't you just like
I can't-
rewind
just
the video
read it one more time.
the whole thing?
Yeah, just read it one more time.
Okay, Taylor Swift said, "You won, you did it."
Was the weekend?
No, this is on December 21st, 2024, so it was right after her lawsuit and the New York Times article.
Okay.
She said, "And you fucking helped so many people who won't have to go through this ever again. Never has a cancellation been reversed so fast. You guys don't understand how rare this is. To have proof and to take the perfect steps to bring that truth into the light."
Well, that didn't age well, did it? That didn't age well.
What do you mean?
Well, because
The New York Times article still stands.
She's crushed, though. Blake Lively has been crushed.
But it was like a fucking...
There was no.
It was a masterwork.
She did not get out of being canceled. She's quite canceled.
Blake Lively said, "I love you so much. I would not be okay through any of this if it weren't for you."
Thank you for rereading.
And then Taylor Swift said this.
I love you too, Taylor. I really do. I really do.
Taylor Swift said this PR chick wants to get info on Blake. Can you believe she just called? Taylor said, "That means the world." And then Blake Lively said, "It changed my life."
They hate each other now. They can't stand the look of each other.
Can't you tell?
Look what you've done to me. I'm Taylor Swift.
I know. Anyway, what else? What else can I dig up for you guys?
I mean, there's so much. We haven't even touched so many of those depositions. So if you just want to grab one and run it, we have 20 minutes left in this, our greatest show ever.
Let's see.
I can also, I can also, like, for example, here's a Jamie Heath part that shows up on a sub that I follow that I can't really quite name, but it's got some interesting stuff in it. You want to hear it? Mm-hmm. Okay, it says, I guess this is... I don't know who this is. Makeup? Maybe it's the makeup artist. Okay? Let's see. We'll see.
The makeup artist's name is Vivian Baker, I think.
Okay, this might be Vivian Baker. Or Bakes, as I call her. Question. So from your recollection, did Miss Lively say Mr. Heath is coming over to discuss something? Oh, no. And do you recall whether there was a knock at the door by Mr. Heath? You know, my memory is vague. I think there was a knock. What I remember most specifically is all three of us. So there must have been a knock saying, "No, don't come in," and no, don't come in. It was quite loud, so they wouldn't come in. Did you catch all that?
Yeah, so he knocks on the door and a bunch of women's voices from inside
Correct.
say, "No, don't come in."
It was myself, Anne, and all Blake saying it all at the same time. Miss Lively, yourself, and Miss Carol, all question. I guess that was the end of the page. Question. And at that point in time, did you know who was at the door? No. And what happened next? They came in. Okay, and was Miss Lively? Can you describe for me?
Unbelievable.
Can you set the scene for me where Miss Lively was? Miss Lively had come in and removed her clothes, and they were handed out the door to costume or someone there that they could take to costume. And I believe she was only in underwear, and she sat down in the chair, and she had she had the baby. The baby was given to her, and I'm pretty sure the assistant had left, and we began to do our work, and then the knock came on the door, and we said, no, don't come in. Okay, and so at that point in time, Miss Lively is wearing underwear but no other clothing. That's correct. Okay, and so her breasts were exposed. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
And where was Miss Lively facing? Was she facing the door? Was she facing the mirror or somewhere else? She was facing the mirror. Okay. And was she standing? No. She was seated. She was seated. Okay. At this point in time, did you have an understanding of who entered the trailer? After they opened the door, we all saw it was Janie, and there was and Blake said, I don't remember exactly what he said, but I remember her saying, "I'll talk to you about this later. Like, let me go ahead and move on. I'll get dressed. We'll talk about it later." And I think he said something to the tune of, "No, we'll do it now."
Oh my God, that's exactly what she says happened.
And I have small towels, like a little small towel that I think that I finally just threw over the other breast because he didn't leave the room. And was Miss Lively holding her baby at that point in time? Yes, she was breastfeeding, I believe, at her right breast. Okay, and so was Miss Lively's left breast exposed? Yes. And did she turn around to speak to? And did she turn around to speak to Mr. Heath when he entered? No, it was done through the mirror. So at that point in time, Mr. Heath had been asked to leave. Of course, we asked him not to come in, and then asked to go. Like, once you enter into the room and you see that, oh, this is an inappropriate time
It's obviously a
to be
private
there,
setting.
you would naturally leave. Did Mr. Heath leave? No. You fucking believe this guy?
I cannot.
So he walked right in. He saw her naked from the chest up, and in her panties, and she's fucking breastfeeding her child.
Unbelievable, bro.
I mean, this guy. And listen, this is what I really believe that they were infatuated with her.
But see, here's the thing. This is what the Sony people don't know when they're talking about how they thought that that nothing rose to the level of a sexual harassment complaint. Like, they don't know the details about this. The makeup artist isn't talking to Sony about this. They're not conducting an investigation or talking to anybody about what actually happened. So they're going on a bunch of assumptions because this sounds really fucking awful what they went through. Right? Like, that is not professional conduct in a workplace, right? Even a film set where people have to be undressed, Unbelievable.
Yeah, so this is the stupid text where people think that this has something to do with plotting for Colleen Hoover and Blake Lively. Colleen Hoover needs to plot to steal her own work. I guess this person, Taryn Fisher, says, I wish one of my best friends, would just send me Justin's proposal video. Of course, that went around like crazy because like, this is the most
do you mean?
cringe thing.
That's
Colleen Hoover says, I wish you'd go Google it. And then she sends that's just one of the things that were in there. Then Colleen Hoover, this video is going to be mine and Blake's inspiration because it's about the
yes
video. She
about
said,
It
this
Starts
video
With
is going
Us.
to be mine and Blake's inspiration for It Starts With Us.
I read that to you already.
Colleen Hoover laughed. This video is going to be mine and Blake's inspiration with us. He's a sociopath, said Taryn Fisher. Do you know who Taryn Fisher is?
I don't.
Well, she called
She might just be a friend of theirs.
And then somebody said, and a narcissist, actually. That might have been Blake, actually.
Would you like to hear the conversation between Blake Lively and Brandon Sklenar?
Yes.
Okay. So this is August 12th. This is after the premiere. Right after the premiere.
Yes.
Okay, like a few days.
Right.
Blake Lively said, FYI, we are each looking to post resources for people experiencing DV. I can and should fill you in more first if you want to post also. So here she is advocating for DV survivors during the promotion of the film.
Yeah.
Okay? Like just so you guys know.
Well, of course she is, man.
You know what I mean?
Come on, it's just the most ridiculous thing.
And Brandon Sklenar said, great, definitely going to hit with comments. Really, definitely getting hit with comments. So he is getting hit with negative comments. He says, really grinding my gears. Blake Lively says, Sony is pulling together a graphic with organizations by region that were released in, getting that to all of us ASAP. He said, that's good. Brandon Sklenar continues, definitely thinking we should hold off on that Creed video given the way things are leaning in the comments.
Creed?
Yeah, they were going to probably make a joke video and what he's putting out there. At the very least, I can show my friends and Courtney. Blake Lively said, no one is touching any special content until we get through the Baldoni shitstorm. This man is a monster to levels I never imagined and thought I saw it all. Sorry, and I thought I saw it all. Sorry, it's very small text. Brandon Sklenar says, it's actually insane. He's projecting the exact opposite of everything, constructing all of it. Just praying it all comes out. Have no idea how. I'm sure once WME drops him, it'll snowball naturally. Blake Lively said, I think at some point we're all going to have to confirm it, if even anonymously or jointly. This is so painful and awful for everyone. He has an entire machine and team and bots prepared for this. None of us do, not even Sony, because none of us had anything to hide. Brandon Sklenar says, I agree. None of us deserve all the hate at all, especially you. Pissing me off so much. Just have to block it out. But every time I go on Instagram, I read something. And Blake Lively said, yeah, I am legitimately depressed and heartbroken, like in an immense amount of pain. I'm sorry it's been aimed at all of us, you included. Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah, well, because,
I hope he's proud of himself.
not only did she like lose all of her, job opportunities, but, her friendships were all inexorably changed. It's just like, you're like, suddenly now you're a hot potato.
Okay. You want to hear from the chat?
Hang on 1 second. Yes, I do.
Hinata said the more we catch up with depositions, the worse this gets.
Say it again.
Hinata said the more we catch up with depositions, the worse this gets.
Yeah.
Delicate said that's where pervasive comes in. It's a bunch of little things that equal a bigger problem.
Exactly.
Let's see. Hinata said, Delicate, you're correct, but it's one of the most explicit cases of SA walking in on your employees just in panties, and the woman had a baby with her, and 3 women told him not to enter. Deanne said, Isabella says in her depositions that Colleen was angry that Justin Baldoni lied about her being Baha'i. She's not. So he said that Colleen Hoover was Baha'i?
Sounds like such a stretch. Maybe
he said that she was like in on the Baha'i.
Or maybe he was making a joke about it.
I don't know.
Like sometimes I'll just like randomly call you Catholic.
Hinata said the amount of time Baldoni and Heath said they didn't understand that to be complaints of SH. Dude, you walked in on women wearing panties and forced yourself to stay there.
She's basically naked.
Yeah. It's really, really horrible.
That's nuts.
It's worse than I thought.
That's way worse. I thought she was like, yeah, it's nuts.
Deanne said that Lyman also said that the lip bite could be construed as SA.
Yeah.
Because if she wasn't prepared to have her lip bitten,
Yeah, I mean,
if he hurt her, then yeah, for sure.
It's a bit of a tough one. That's a bit of a tough one to win.
It's fucked up, whatever it is.
But
bro.
it's a liberty he should not have taken.
I mean, it's definitely an assault if you aren't in agreement with what somebody does.
Yeah, but even if it's not something he should have done.
Let's see. Hanada thinks that Ange Giannetti was probably placating Baldoni to get his movie done.
Yeah, she's two-faced all the way. That's
Blake was definitely left to dry by Sony and everybody else.
I called that out from the beginning. I said that Sony's going to play both sides because they have to. Their objective is a singular objective, and that's to produce the best possible film that their money can buy. And they're going to work both sides of the parties in a dispute, probably equally if both parts are integral components to their objective. But she was ultimately abandoned by Sony in the end, and really by most everybody else. I thought that she was like the hero kind of taking up the shield, but in reality, she was like, this fucking guy.
Yeah.
And then they were all like, yeah, this fucking guy. She's like, okay, I'm going to do something about it. They're like, you should. And then she did, and they were like, hey.
Yeah.
I got things to do. I'm over here. I'm building
Well, they just
futures.
didn't want to take the reputational damage that his publicists were putting on everybody. I don't think that they bargained for that. She might not have decided to.
Like, she jumped in the water, and she was like, oh, this shit is cold.
Yeah, dude. It's fucked.
And everybody's like, okay, I'm not in.
Okay, Hanada said, if there is one juror who doesn't want to grant the SH claims, they know they'll sit there in lockdown until they agree. They'll cave in. Mateo thinks there won't be a trial. I'm more convinced than a year ago. What do you think?
I think there will be a trial still.
I mean, this ball is rolling. It's no stopping this.
I don't think there's any reason for her not to go to trial. You know, I said that I think that, you know, this case isn't as cut and dry as it felt like before I saw all the Sony stuff. And, you know, Sony's a big factor in this, and they will be impressionable to the jury, or so I suspect. I don't know anything, obviously, but I suspect that they're going to be rather impressionable to the jury because they're the big pros throwing $28 million on the party. And because any sort of harassment or complaints would not fall on them anyway, they don't have a motivation like, say, some other companies might to cover up their own dirty work in the way that they use HR to do that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and look, I don't know how much or to what extent a jury will weigh that, but that's out there, you know, because the jury is going to know that the Wayfair parties, or sorry, not the Wayfair parties, but Wayfair Studios was and is the owner of or licensor of that IP, and that they were in charge of the production. They're going to know that. And they're going to know that Sony's job was marketing distribution and not in charge of the production. And they're going to get the understanding of why somebody like Ange Giannetti or any other Sony representative was crucial to the production and to the monitoring of the production in order for them to develop the marketing, to see the development of the film and so forth. But I still think that there's a lot of opportunity there for Justin Baldoni's side to create doubt with Blake Lively by using Sony, which is this, you know, foundation of a studio, you know, in Hollywood. So, and remember that Sony has to deal with HR and these kinds of issues probably on a daily basis, you know? They have 10,000 employees just in the pictures division.
Yeah, Deanne said Sony also did not let him do a cut to protect Isabella Ferrer. I can't believe that, man.
Yeah, this is the thing. Well, you know, in this case, right, you're looking at Justin Baldoni's cut and you're saying, what's wrong with the cut? And you're like, well, he's doing this, you know, this simulated penetration scene with a 15-year-old virgin, right? So they're going to bring up these as the issues with the cut.
Yes.
But even if you take that scene out, and this is important it's important because even though it's relevant that he had these scenes, and that's relevant to her claims, Blake Lively's claims, that he was doing things to the film in terms of creating material changes to the film that involved subject matter that should have included a IC and that should have been discussed well in advance of any actor being put in on the set and
also, like, Sony
made to
signed
perform.
on to make the film off of the script, and if he's making so many changes to the script, Sony's like, this isn't the film we signed up for, right?
Yeah.
Like, he can't just make a fucking improv film.
And somebody's trying to say Confessions. This person goes by the name of Confessions of, and I'm not going to read everything, Optimist or something. Isabel was 25 years old. She was playing a 15-year-old.
Yeah, they got off the school bus right before the.
Yeah,
section.
she got off the school bus. Like, she's playing a 15-year-old, and what she represents, like, they always put, not always, but almost always, and especially if there's any even form of intimacy whatsoever, they'd prefer to put an adult in that situation that looks young. So, yeah, I mean, that's just casting. That has nothing to do with the character she's portraying, which is 15 years old. So it still stands that the character that he was doing a simulated penetration scene with a 15-year-old character.
Even in the book, it was very much not mentioned exactly how that went, and he wanted to explore every detail. And neither of the women who wrote the book or the screenplay had done that.
But the point that I'm getting to is that while that is totally inappropriate in my book, I don't understand what the fuck he's doing. I don't know why he's sexualizing everything around his set. It's totally absurd. It's fucking patently absurd. And it's definitely the male gaze, not the female gaze, which he said that he was there to protect. Mm-hmm. Which, of course, if he can't know that he can't possibly protect the female gaze from the male gaze's perspective, then he's already a fool. So I'm not going to get into any of that. But I will say that even if that scene didn't exist, Sony was going to find a way to make sure that they got their cut done, because studios do cuts every time. Mm-hmm. Studios do cuts every time.
Yes.
And so it's not, and they're gonna use the reasons that they're gonna create, even if they're false, in order to be able to get their cut. That's just how the studio system works. It's always going to be that way. And the reason it's always going to be that way is because directors want to do things like include like elongating scenes, for example, or something as stupid as this Isabella Ferrar scene where he's simulating sex between teenagers.
Erica Rydholm is talking about how the internet is aghast that fucking Taylor Swift called Justin Baldoni a little bitch.
He is a little bitch.
But Erica, I'm with Erica on this one. This is exactly my very first reaction to hearing that. Erica said, I have to laugh at people being mad at calling JB a bitch. If I'm complaining about a guy at work, the very least I'm going to expect from my friends is to call him a bitch. That is just basic girlhood.
Basic girlhood.
Basic girlhood friendship is if you're dealing with somebody who's being a little bitch that they go around calling.
Dude, I just said...
Hey, you still dealing with that little bitch at your work?
I just said on that ends with lawsuit sub, like they're all like, everyone's like, yeah, they're all jaws are dropped at
come on. That's
Blake
like
Lively talking shit to her.
That's tame.
And I'm like,
you've never had a friendship with a girl then, I guess.
Yeah, but they're also like talking shit about them.
Yes.
They're like, can you believe Blake Lively, that whore, would do shit like this? They're saying crazy shit like the psychopath. They're calling her psycho, and they're calling her like whatever else.
Okay, well, I guess both sides do it. Deanne said, I want Taylor to send Justin Baldoni a violin cake with Lil Bitch on it. You know, she's really into baking bread now, apparently.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, so maybe she'll...
I want to get some of that sourdough.
Bake him a bitch bowl.
Starter. Give me some of that starter. I want some. She's going to start selling Taylor Swift starter. Watch. It's shipped cold to your door.
Let's see. Dime Beth says there's a website run by pro Baldoni people. They upload the files, but pro Baldoni stuff is highlighted.
This person called...
They got to highlight it because it's so hard to find.
This person called Alma Ma says that Blake inserted, and she decided to put that in all caps, herself as writer, director, costume designer, and producer.
And look at how much money they made. Look at how much money they fucking made when she did that.
Well, she didn't, though. She didn't.
You know what I mean? Like, they could be grateful. They could be grateful for all of the massive success that she helped them usher to the finish line.
But it's not true. So I don't think that they should be grateful about something that's not even true. She asked to be a part of things, and they let her be a part of things. She was an executive producer from the very, very start. And executive producers are not just vanity credits like a film buy, for example. They can be held by legitimate producers who provide legitimate producing services. And that includes working in the editing room, that includes script notes, that includes like the full suite of producerial duties from marketing to development to distribution. and obviously to production. So this notion that she wasn't a producer is absurd.
But also, I mean, the reason why I brought up
It's
what I
not
said.
true.
The reason why I brought up what I said was because, like, nobody can identify what he actually lost. He didn't fucking lose anything.
No,
Like,
but
he's whinging about
but
a
that's
film
not what she's
credit,
saying.
but it
What
still
this-
exists in the film. I mean, like, he literally did not lose anything that he's complaining about having lost as a result of her taking over everything. Like, he'll have to show a jury what it was that he lost as a result of her actions. And he only ever gained. He was only more enriched. He was only benefited. So, like, what is he complaining about?
Well, it's more because it's more complex than that. That's an easy sort of surface view of things. But there's ego involved. There's all kinds of things that gets involved.
Okay, but is a jury going to decide for him because his ego was wounded?
Certainly, I wouldn't expect so. This person said, Paulette, whatever. I'm sorry, I can't get your name. I apologize. Thank you for showing up here today. She says to Deanne that there can only be retaliation claim if there were SH, and that's actually not true. In the PGA letter, Blake wrote bullet point about how she had immense power on it. It ends with us, which hurt the SH claim. None of that is true. I'm sorry to say, but none of that is true. If she made complaints about sexual harassment in the workplace, whether they're found to be liable or whether they're found to be even warranted by HR or any other kind of investigation, which never happened, even if they were found to be not worthy of it. Ange Giannetti, for example, in her deposition said that she didn't think that they were HR worthy complaints. That doesn't matter. What matters is, did she make the complaints in good faith? And if she made the complaints in good faith, and there's no question about that.
Justin Baldoni admits it in his own deposition that everything that she complained about did happen,
yes,
and that she made those complaints truthfully,
yes,
and that he doesn't have any issue with how she went about complaining about the things that happened to her.
So if she made the complaints in good faith and he retaliated, then he is liable for that retaliation, and SH does not have to stand. Now, she still believes that SH occurred, and I do believe that it occurred. The Jamie Heath instance that I just read a moment ago, and if you weren't here for it, press rewind on your little device. But I just read some testimony where it is irrefutable that not only did Jamie Heath enter her trailer while she was naked, but he did so inappropriately, and he did so at the protest of everyone who was in the trailer, including Blake Lively. And that is SH. There's no fucking way that anybody in my mind is going to not find that SH.
And Dime Beth said he was so afraid of being called a creep, but he couldn't stop being a creep.
Yeah. Well, this is the weirdest part about their whole problem, is this is where they're living in this fucking bubble, because the first thing that you want to do is just shut it all down. Like, she did Blake Lively with the 17-point thing, right? That was the shutdown, right? Because everyone agrees, right, in the evidence that after that document was signed, everything ran copacetically, right? Everything was smooth.
Yep.
Everything went to the end.
That's right.
They ended up producing a great
started
film.
behaving himself after she had complained for months.
That 17-point. The point I'm trying to make is that 17-point document should have been a self-inflicted, right, a self-realized situation when the complaint started in the first fucking place. Look, Ange Giannetti testified that the set was a shit show. The set was the responsibility of Jamie Heath and the responsibility of Justin Baldoni, ultimately. By the way, one of the other people who would be responsible for a shit show of a set would be the first AD, which Blake Lively and Alex Sachs both had a problem with. But when you have those three people not performing well on the set, you get these kinds of problems. That's what I'm saying. Severe and pervasive. That's not true. You are wrong. When you're talking about severe and pervasive, you're talking about whether there's liability. And liability is not what she's after right now. I mean, she will be. She's suing for SH, but if she loses the SH, and she might, if she loses the SH, retaliation still stands. So you can pretend that retaliation does not apply, but the law says otherwise. You are wrong about that. And I've asked enough people.
Fellbaumling said, I am telling you, Baldoni was trying to put on film content for his spank bank. It may or may not have made it into the movie, but he and his bros would have had access to it. Damn. That's fucking dark.
Say that again?
Fellbaumling said, I'm telling you, Baldoni was trying to put on film content for his spank bank. It may or may not have made it into the movie, but he and his bros would have had access to it.
I've not uttered these words. I've thought these words 100 times.
Because there are text messages where he was saying he was talking with the intimacy coordinator. Maybe he was talking to Jamie about meeting with them. He was talking about, well, if she's naked and we're not allowed to show nipples, can my hand be what covers her nipple?
Yeah.
And I was like,
He also wanted her.
that sure would be nice for you.
He also wanted her naked under the birthing sheet.
Yeah.
For his friend.
Yeah.
And he was going to shoot that angle.
Man.
And it wasn't going to end up in the film.
I mean, here's the thing:
I've thought about that because, dude, it's like the whole like. I only learned this because of somebody posting this on Reddit fairly recently. But I guess dudes wear sunglasses, like dark sunglasses, so they can like walk into places and stare at chicks' asses and shit and boobs and whatever. Just loser dudes. Uh-huh. That's his little version of that. This is like a filmmaker's version of that. That's a weird kink. It's kind of that's weird. That's weird.
I mean, I don't know if any of that is true, obviously, but isn't it strange that that's within the realm of possibility based on how he's been behaving?
Yes, it is. But you know, whether or not that's going to be something that actually makes it to a trial is, I mean, well, it'll never will unless they actually discover it. Can you imagine if they found something like that? Oh my God. They were like, so we found this, which has like all these really interesting crotch shots. Yeah. No, we're going to shoot this in 12K.
Stacy said, I think Blake has a wicked sense of humor, but I will agree that she does put her foot in her mouth at times. I truly believe her heart was in the right place. She deserved none of this.
I don't believe she deserved any of this. I think that her heart is in the right place. I think the reason that she does things like tell people about like, oh, they had to fire the director and then I had to get in, or they had to take the film away from the director and then I came in to save the day. I think that she does that because she's mostly insecure. Like when she talks about, which is wild, but I really believe it's true. And the reason that, one of the reasons that I think, that this is a strong possibility is just the way in which she talks about Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds, like the amount of admiration that she has for them. Mm-hmm. And I think that she, looking at their success, she's never until this moment had ever experienced any kind of success like that. Obviously, Taylor Swift is just next level. And then her husband, Ryan Reynolds, he's worth $300 million. He's just this like super suave guy, savvy guy. He's got these like incredible successes, massive blockbuster hits and so on and so forth. And this thing that she longed for, and I think really everybody longs for in Hollywood, which is this, which she calls authorship. And anyway, so I think that she just gets into this place where, she wants to wear the suit and be like, yeah, look at me, man. I am a producer. I have produced a movie.
Yeah, and she gets to.
And it is a big deal, bro. I mean,
The Junk Farm said, Dale, if you haven't, for sure you have to watch Justin Baldoni's Access Hollywood interview where he says that he would try stuff in a scene with Blake and then look at her for her reaction and realize that he went too far.
Yeah.
This is bad directing.
I think I've seen that, but I will look at that again. We should probably bank it.
I remember that one where I was like, oh, he's going to try the method acting defense, where he's like, no, it wasn't me being inappropriate. I was just so into the character of Ryle, who is an inappropriate character as written on the page.
I mean, it's so funny because like people will show up here and call us delusional, or Justin Baldoni in his deposition said that there was no kissing. There was no sort of inappropriate in that dance scene.
In the dance scene.
And, and then somebody published the stills of his lips just all over her face. Mm-hmm. And the actual action of him kissing her forehead, that is kissing. And it's kissing of her face.
So he's,
and he was trying to get at those lips. He put his damn thumb in them.
I think this is why people jump to the narcissism label, because it does seem that he is unwilling to accept when he has been wrong. And I think that is one of the marks of a narcissist.
I think you might be right.
Is that they can't ever be wrong. It's like they can't take on any blame for anything. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know why he can't admit what we've all seen on camera, and that's that there's several times where he is kissing Blake Lively in that dance scene.
Don't kiss me, Blake Lively. Don't you kiss me.
We haven't gone through all of this chat. I'm sorry if I didn't get to you guys, but we are in overtime.
We're in overtime. Let me see. If disputed, there was SH. Haven't been proven. PGA letter hurt SH claim. It doesn't. Why do you think? Do you think that a producer can't be harassed? Do you think somebody of power can't be harassed by somebody who's not of power, for example? I don't know why you have this idea that there's got to be some hierarchical thing involved in sexual harassment, but you can get harassed by an extra.
So if I own a restaurant and the busboy grabs my ass, that's not a harassment?
No, not according to this person. No, because you're the owner.
Weird.
You're the owner, so somebody can grab your ass because you're the owner. I guess. Do you see how that doesn't make sense?
No.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. Harassment is harassment, and hierarchy, your position, your station in a specific situation isn't going to determine whether or not there's going to be any kind of liability. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? You guys still can't admit that Blake was wrong and that she did have a motive? Talk about being paid by Ryan. Let's talk about being paid by Ryan, shall we? Just for a minute.
When is Ryan going to pay us?
Well, we have to get, we're at 736 subscribers.
Oh.
And Ryan promised to buy us a house if we get to 1,000 subscribers.
Did he?
Let me refresh, because we could have maybe gotten one here today. Let's see.
I hope it's a nice house.
Wait. Hold still. No, we still only got 736. So we
if
still have 264 subscribers to go before Ryan Reynolds buys us a house.
Can you imagine?
So if you wouldn't mind, person who said that,
1,000 subscribers.
Vanessa, could you subscribe to our channel just briefly? You can unsubscribe as soon as we get to 1,000 and Ryan Reynolds buys us our house.
He said it. I heard it. That's what's happening.
Yeah, and also Blake Lively's going to send pictures of her boobs for us because we just requested that. You know,
Dale.
It's totally appropriate.
I don't want to see your boobs.
Sure.
You want to see your boobs?
I mean, if I'm being honest. All right, you guys. You guys are so much fun. If you haven't liked the live, please do. If you haven't disliked the live, please do. Apparently, they're both good. Please like or dislike the live. Show your love and hate. We're going to be back tomorrow. We'll be reading more depositions or other. I think we were a little less organized than I wished we were today, and I think part of that is my fault, so I apologize.
Well, it's just because, like, you know how...
I'm saying part.
So, you know how, like, all the dishes fell over in the china cabinet and you got to open the door and they all just come out?
Yeah.
That's, like, how it was with all of this discovery today that's been dropped. So I've just been trying to comb through it all.
He said ex-patriarch hasn't gotten Blake Lively's cookies yet. You're in for a wait.
Really?
Oh, is he getting cookies?
They're probably lost in the
See,
mail.
I have to fucking get my negotiation down because I haven't even thought about asking for. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna renegotiate with Ryan Reynolds. I want a house. I want a Taylor Swift sourdough starter, autograph somehow, or like maybe some put a hair in there or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
God.
Is that crazy? Is that creepy?
Yes, that's crazy. Don't ask.
I just want a little DNA.
We're going to talk about your negotiation before you put it on the table.
Oh, okay. What else do I want? But I definitely, I do. I think I definitely want, I want the cookies. If the cookies are going around, I want the cookies.
If there's cookies going, I didn't even know about
I want
this.
the house and the cookies.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, ex-patriarch he's not a very good negotiator if all he got was cookies. We got a house.
Yeah, he's working
He's got
way
like 25,000 subscribers. I mean, he could probably get 2 houses. He could probably get like a summer house, you know, and a regular house, both houses. Well, all right, you guys, we're going to go away and live the rest of our lives. By the way, I don't know if you know this, there's a terrible storm coming.
Oh, it's awful.
It's
guys.
a terrible storm.
We're going to be polar vortexed.
We might be out of power. We're a little nervous about it, but we're in the south where it's still going to get above 30 in the daytime at least. But the nights are going to fall to like 13 degrees around here, which is just unheard of. And then on top of that, they're expecting a lot of precipitation, which could mean an ice storm.
Which means we could be without power.
So which means we could be without power, we could be under covers, we're using dog body heat. We're going to bathe the dogs in advance. Like we're just doing all this.
So we can cuddle?
Yeah, so we can cuddle with the dogs under covers and in the bed, you know. Anyway, so Monday, Tuesday, I don't know, those days are going to be in jeopardy because we don't know if there's going to be any power up in our parts. Although we are projected to get only the southern end of the storm. So I don't know. And by the way, this is Athens, which, as you know, we live in Athens, which is Venus's favorite
You're saying
city.
The name of the city somehow has it protected?
Well, Venus is Zeus's, who is the god of storms, right? He is Venus is his favorite, and he protects Venus.
So you think our town is going to be protected?
I mean, well, Zeus protects Venus. I mean, you gotta think it's a possibility.
We'll see what happens.
We'll let you know if the storm avoids us That's straight up Zeus in action, bro. Protecting Venus.
I initially wanted, like last week, we had started doing the coverage of, we were reading all through the Baldoni depositions because we have the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And we were doing a weekend edition to do that. But this weekend, we're simply going to be too cold. So I don't think that
there's going to be no weekend edition.
Yeah,
no.
we're not planning on.
We were going to do that, but we have a storm coming in that we're probably not going to tempt fate on that. Somebody called ex-patriarch an idiot. You probably don't know them. You probably don't know them. My guess is that you're just somebody who like says mean things about people online.
If he is capable of getting under your skin, then I don't know which one of you is the idiot. I feel like
well put.
It is very, very
slam.
You are giving somebody entirely too much of your control over you and your emotions.
Yeah.
If you allow them to get under your skin enough to call them an idiot, it says more about you than it does about them.
I've had the privilege of speaking to the man personally. I think he's a fucking stellar dude. I like what he's up to. I like his content. I think ex-patriarch is a good dude. There's a lot of people out there who are critical of men who take on the so-called female cause or the feminist cause and make it a part of their identity, which to some extent he certainly has. But there are the genuine ones in life, and it appears as though he is one of them. And so I'm a friend of the guy and of his content at this stage in my life, and I hope that nothing ever comes out that proves that misguided. I'm going to get the fuck out of here. I'm done. It's a wrap. I had a good time. I hope you guys did. We'll be back again tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. If you're new to the place, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and come back and watch more. If you hate us, give us a hate and subscribe, because you gotta subscribe to some of the hate, bro. You guys obviously live off of it. So, let some of the hate, help us grow and become more hateful. Hateful. I don't know what to say. All right, Angela, you ready to go?
Yes.
Say goodnight then.
Good night.
All right, she said it. Good night.